is up, my Ammonites? It's your boy Guy, and welcome back to a Friday stream. Yeah, I've really got to start working on planning things out, but I figured it's about time I caught up on some of the more interesting reaction videos. So today, we're going to be going ahead and, I guess, doing a Goji stream. So, you know, just to get a little refresher, because I once again have been challenged to do a hybrid battle. So, and there's still that little debate video that I have been delaying, and I am sorry I have not been doing that. But that's why we're gonna do a few reaction videos to help me refresh my memory on what I'm working with. And a few other fun things as well. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Okay, and... oh dear. This is a... hold on a second. Alt 4. What is going on here? Yeah, that's better. Yeah, I was wondering what was going on there. Okay. Alright, sorry, I just wanted to make sure we're, good there. Okay. Scooch just a bit so I can see chat. Yeah. I think okay. Alright, that's better. Now I can actually see YouTube. And I can do the boobs. Alright. Anyway, T-Rex arms were wings. Okay. I had no idea this was even a thing. Since when did T-Rex, king of the dinosaurs, largest and most powerful land carnivore, become a creature of the sky? I mean, don't get me wrong, a flying T-Rex sounds absolutely awesome, but, this is literally the first time I actually heard of such a thing. But, yeah, I had never even heard of this, so let's just go ahead and find out what the hell is going on here. I mean, did someone think it might be a wyvern or something? Well, let's find out. Goji Center, take it away. Oh, like and subscribe, all that jazz. Let's dive into this.
T-Rex did not have wings. Okay, lesson over. Class dismissed, and be sure to get your respective assignments done by the end of the week. All right, no, seriously. On this episode of Goji Center, Professor Goji is chiming in and addressing one of the most preposterous claims on the internet. With multiple outlets on the net and word of mouth spreading the ridiculous myth, we decided it was time to post a class on this and set the record straight.
Where did that even start? Seriously, I never even heard of such a thing. I mean, this is right here, this image right here, yeah, this is what we think of when we hear the name T-Rex or Tyrannosaurus. I mean, when you think of dragon, you think of something else. Definitely not this. What is going on here?
So get your notes ready, and we mean this in the most respectful way possible. Let's start using some common sense moving forward, shall we? Now, first things first, paleontology is a constantly growing science that could easily be defined as a subject people know of rather than know. Dinosaurs are popular, and a lot of people know of them, but your average everyday person, especially certain influencers, might drastically underestimate just how much study and work goes into this kind of field. And as with any popular subject,
have to
a lot
dig
of people weigh in on
facts.
it. Now, let's be clear, anybody could get anything wrong. So if you hear someone repeating this, don't be some kind of smart aleck correcting them rudely. Give them the facts, not the sass. We, however, will be doing both.
Yes!
Well,
I
because we're up against
approve!
the single greatest source of distillation for information and misinformation alike, the internet. Over the past few years,
So, yeah, I've been on the internet for quite some time, and I never even heard of the idea that T-Rex had wings. Like, where did it start? Who said that? What? Hello? Internet? I'd like to know what's going on here.
there has been a recurring misconception that these tiny arms on the most famous dinosaur of all are not arms at all, but wings.
What?
Often using this particular image as a reference.
Seriously? Color me wrong if I'm saying this, but isn't this made from AI? I'm pretty sure wings are not supposed to look anything remotely like that on a T-Rex. I mean, look right here. Look at the wings themselves. There should be bones. Big bones. Not the tiny wrists.
Which, by the way, was one commissioned artwork to demonstrate a hypothetical cartilaginous wyvern-like wing structure on.
What? Cartilage is super flexible. It would not be stable whilst in flight. I'm not an expert on bone and cartilage, but I'm pretty sure cartilage is a little too flexible for flight.
On a T-Rex, and two, not to be taken at all seriously as stated by the artist herself, Emily Stepp, and good friend of the channel, and even something
Okay, the original artist literally said not to take it seriously. Okay, thank you. So, that's actually responsible, but who's been taking it out of context?
like this wyvern-like build would not be able to fly, as we're about to learn later in this video. Before someone brings up the argument, if we don't know everything about dinosaurs, how can we possibly know it wasn't like this, right? How do we know if the dogmatic consensus view is...
We can do math, for one thing. Cover the density, size. I mean, there are a lot of things that we certainly would... I mean, we don't know whether or not they could breathe fire, but based on the size of the animal and the design and aerodynamics, I'm pretty sure a T-Rex that is winged and flying would not exist. But again, I am not one to be against any cool factors. I mean, a flying T-Rex that can breathe fire? Hell yeah, that's a Tyrannodragon!
Isn't wrong. How can we be so sure Tyrannosaurus wasn't literally just a dragon from ancient legend, swooping down from the sky and ripping things apart in the shadow of leathery wings? Well, because Game of Thrones in Jurassic World Rebirth isn't a documentary. If you're one of those people who think T-Rex were winged dragons and these tiny arms were wings, we understand your enthusiasm and wishful thinking. Dragons are cool, yes. Everyone watching this video would be excited if one day dragons turned out to be real. We get it. But using T-Rex specifically as the pedestal to build your argument upon is the absolute worst basis possible. And here's why.
And that right there is why I believe that T-Rexes were the actual dragons.
What? Wow. The blonde stereotype. Dude, no. No! No, those are not... What are you doing, woman? What are you doing? Those things are... How can you confuse Carnotaurus with... Carnotaurus arms with wings? Like, what? That's your argument? Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm out! I'm out! It's been good ride. I'm out. Fuck this. Ugh. All right. Okay, yeah, I mean, I have to keep going, but this... But in all seriousness, lady, where did you get that idea from? Do you even have a brain underneath that blonde wig?
Like, does anybody else remember like a year or so ago when there were a couple of TikToks circling around basically talking about how T-Rexes actually had like wings?
What? You learned those facts from TikTok? This bitch really is rotten in the brain. Just when you thought you couldn't be any more stupid. This bitch, it literally has brain rot!
And that's why we think their arms are so small, because they were actually feathered wings.
That's not how wings work! There has to be a specific structure, and those things aren't even big enough to be a display, let alone flight! What are you doing?
Like, I don't know, I'm no scientist, but like, look
No shit, Sherlock!
at that video that I just stitched. Look at how ridiculous that looks, and tell me that.
Seriously? You think those tiny stubs are a good basis for wings? I mean, those feathers better be extra big to be actually visible. But even then, those are not flight feathers.
That there's not a better explanation.
The dragon apologists likely picked on T-Rex because it is indeed the most popular dinosaur, and naturally you're going to pick the most popular dinosaur to then paint them as dragons. But what you're forgetting is that this animal is the most popular for a reason. It is one of, if not the most studied dinosaur of all time.
That is true.
So much so that most debates about T-Rex now are mostly about the small details rather than the basics.
And there are lots of specimens to work with, so yeah. Therefore, most studied.
For instance, we know T-Rex walked on 2 legs and was fast enough to catch up to some prey. But future research may improve our understanding on exactly how fast it can run. We know it had an incredibly powerful bite, though it is still debated exactly how strong it was. But note that absolutely nobody in the field argues how fast it could fly.
Because there was literally no possible way that it even could fly to begin with. Who actually thought that was even possible? Realistically.
When it comes to its skeleton, T-Rex is the best known dinosaur,
yes,
with literally dozens of fossil specimens and many more closely related species available for comparison. So it's very safe to say the researchers have identified essentially every bone in its body.
Whoa!
So, did T-Rex have the same bones you see in the wings of other animals?
No!
Yes, and so do you.
Oh,
Don't get too excited now.
Okay.
Allow us to demonstrate a principle known as homology. We've talked about this before, but the short of it is that all organisms in the same classification might have the same structures in their body, they just might be retooled for different purposes.
Okay.
A whale's flipper, a human arm, the forelimb of a lizard, and a bird wing are more or less composed of the same bones. This is because all the animals we just mentioned are all tetrapods, vertebrates composed of the same basic bones and parts. Wings and arms are what we call homologous structures, and something that seems to confuse people on the internet is that a wing is not a separate body part from an arm. A bird wing is built of 1 upper arm bone, 2 lower arm bones, the wrist bones, and then the fingers. Same things that are in a T-Rex arm or even your arm. So yeah, wings are arms. Unless we're talking about insects, this is true with any flying animal. The wing apologists are probably thinking, dude, you're proving our point. Well, not so fast. The way these arms were positioned is a
And look at the size, just the size of them alone. Like, how do you conclude those are wings? Honestly.
clear indicator that these could definitely not flap or fold anything like wings. It's actually extremely obvious. Now, it is true that tyrannosaurs share a lot of similar features with birds. Both of them are part of arguably the most successful dinosaur family of all time, the Coelurosaurs, along with other members like raptors and therizinosaurs. In effect, you could think of tyrannosaurs and birds as almost like first cousins, coming from a shared family with a lot of the same traits. One way it was not bird-like, however, was flight. Feathers in most dinosaurs were for purposes like insulation to keep warm. Not all feathers are the same, and not all are useful for flying.
Like I was saying just a few seconds ago about that Carnotaurus TikTok lady. I have seen plenty of stupid, but that bitch has to take the cake on natural selection on stupid! I'm sorry. You see, she's so stupid, I'm getting brain rot!
Think less the big, broad wing plumes of an eagle, and more the hair-like fluff you see on baby birds for warmth. Some lineages of Coelurosaurs did have longer, broader plumed feathers to make tail fans and wings which were used for flight. Tyrannosaurs, however, have not been confirmed to have ever had the types of feathers seen on the wings of flying birds. Tyrannosaur feather fossils usually are more primitive and hair-like, serving purposes of display, camouflage, or insulation against the cold. T-Rex likely still had feathers, but they would have been heavily reduced versions of these fuzzy coats. Smaller guanlong were smaller than T-Rex, but totally lacked plume feathers for flight and was still too big and heavy to get airborne without a lot of specialized body parts. If you still think T-Rex had wings at this point, we know what you're thinking. So what if we maybe just got the bones wrong? What if they accidentally, or on purpose, stuck the arms of a smaller dinosaur on a T-Rex body and we just missed, or they're hiding, its actual wings? Even if they did get it wrong, or just slap the wrong arms on, T-Rex still couldn't fly. That's because, believe it or not, flight is a lot more than just wing flapping. Flight is a very complex means of locomotion, and while the wings are what makes it possible, they aren't the only body parts doing all the work. Every other part of the anatomy in flying animals is often fine-tuned to help them get off the ground. It's the same reason why an eagle and a bat are not built like a sauropod and a lion, because flapping your wings means moving your arms up and down with a lot of force repeatedly. The muscle attachments for those arms have to be drastically bigger than in most other animals.
Yep.
And you can't attach such muscle to nothing. It often requires a special kind of skeleton. And this is why when you look at the bones of a bird, the chest muscle region is often huge compared to the rest of the body. Most large birds and pterosaurs have what is called a keeled sternum for anchoring these kinds of muscles. This feature is so noticeable that even flightless birds that once flew, like dodos, tend to still have this trait.
But we don't see it in T-Rex,
many
though.
of these same groups also have very large shoulder areas with bigger scapula bones than ground-dwelling animals of the same size for the same reason. If your method of getting around involves constantly fighting gravity in such a way, you're going to need very strong arms. Going back to a T-Rex skeleton, even if T-Rex had these alleged wings, T-Rex does not have the proper keeled sternum, nor does it have the right scapula bones, and in the wrong spot. At this point, if anyone had an inkling of common sense, would now realize that something built like this cannot fly. But surely there are people who still adhere to this idea. So here's a couple more reasons why this concept is still preposterous. Animals that are adapted for long-distance powered flight rely on other very important features, especially the big ones. Let's talk about weight. Yes,
Yeah,
this thing
I already
heavy.
mentioned that.
T-Rex had devoted most of the extra weight in its upper body to supporting its head, and sacrificed muscle attachment points for the arms to offset some of that weight. Otherwise, a T-Rex with huge arms and a huge head would need to be a quadruped to hold up that weight and remain balanced. And far as we can tell, nearly no theropod dinosaur ever was chiefly motoring around on anything but its hind legs. A T-Rex would need a completely different chest.
And that would actually mean that all of the theropods, Allosaurus, Carnotaurus, Spinosaurus, they would all have to have a very different bone structure. They would all have to be quadrupeds. And I'm pretty sure their heads are gonna be exploding by this point, so let's proceed.
shoulder, and limb anatomy to support wings. And at that point, arguing that, well, what if we're just missing these parts becomes beyond absurd. We already established that almost every bone is identified with tyrannosaurs. And if you thought there wasn't any more reason why it couldn't fly, listen to this. The biggest birds and pterosaurs were toothless and beaked, and had a good reason why they didn't have heads full of heavy teeth like T-Rex, who, by the way, has some of, if not the heaviest teeth of any land carnivore to ever live. Then there's the matter of air resistance, in this case known as drag, where the air pulls against the body during flight. And a long tail on T-Rex creates a crap ton of it, and makes flight much less efficient. Large animals that could fly, such as the large Astarchids, benefited from having lighter bodies, less heavily built hind limbs, extremely hollow bones to reduce weight greatly, and very short tails. A complete contrast to anything T-Rex looked like. So yes, these guys were the closest thing nature ever came to giant dragons, weighing hundreds of kilos, not thousands, and with the body behind the arms being really small. T-Rex? Oh boy. Yeah, basically the exact opposite. Even an average Rex was likely north of 7,000 kilos, and some of the biggest were north of
10 tons!
That's multiple elephants worth of mass we're talking about. And while T-Rex did have hollow bones, they weren't nearly hollow enough to get the effect needed for flight. Don't let these movies fool you. A beast the size and the shape of the Mutodon would struggle to get airborne, let alone something 40 times more massive. To get an airborne Rex, you'd need to completely redo its skeleton. Can't get it on all fours, so you'll have to make do on 2 legs. It would need to be drastically smaller and lighter to get it under 100 kilograms, change up the chest bones with keeled sternum to attach the right kind of muscles, lengthen the arms drastically, cause seriously, anyone with a drop of common sense would realize these are nowhere near big enough for flight, ditch the teeth and replace it with a beak for less weight, shorten the tail for the same reason, and lengthen out the feathers into plumes. And at that point, you might as well just call it an eagle because you've turned a Rex into a bird.
Out of all the thing, that is the most absurd. I mean, Goji Center did a great job once again, but the fact that we even had to do this at all is absurd.
Class dismissed.
Thank God. Okay. That was by far the most ridiculously stupid thing I've ever seen. Like, not on Goji's part, he's done great, but the fact that we even had to explain this at all, I am so glad that I do not have this level of brain rot. Just get your do your own research and don't listen to TikTok. TikTok literally causes brain rot. That's all I have to say about this video. But yeah, anyway, links are in the description down below, and check that out and support the original channel. Alright, I've been meaning to react to this. It is Disney's Carnotaurus versus V-Rex, the ultimate dino face-off. Before we get started, who would you pick would be the winner of this battle? Is it Disney's Carno or Peter Jackson's V-Rex? Leave your thoughts and comments down below. And as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and all that jazz. And support the creator. And without further ado, let's ring the bell and dive on in. Ding, ding, ding!
Today, in the battle arena, 2 colossal, voracious meat-eaters from 2 eras face each other for the first time ever. On one end, the veteran of the evolutionary arms race in the most dangerous place in the planet's history, the modern-day successor from the line of tyrant kings, Vestatosaurus.
Oh, before I continue, I actually did, in fact, buy the book, and it is actually very fascinating. Sorry, I keep pausing, but anyway, moving on.
On the other, the feared, bloodthirsty demon bull from the southern prehistoric
It really
wilderness,
was a
armed
demon!
from head to toe with nightmarish weapons and armor. Carnotaurus robustus floridana from Disney's
That is so
Dinosaur.
robust!
These two fictional species will go head-to-head as we study their armor, weapons, strengths, and weaknesses that will determine which of these creatures would come out alive from a fight to the death. No quarter given, no mercy shown. So stay till the end to witness the bloodiest showdown yet on Goji Center's Monster Face-Off.
I mean...
This battle will feature two fictional theropod super species. One, a speculative depiction of what T-Rex would have evolved into, taking many variables into account, and the other being an Abelisaur on steroids times 2. Again,
yeah! More like times 10! I mean, that thing took down everything in his path! Well, let's see. It's able to throw an iguanodon around like a rag doll. But then there's Vastatosaurus, who's evolved to fight against giant gorillas, theorized to hunt down sauropods. I don't know, this is pretty intense. But we'll have to see how this plays out.
Gestalt of Carnotaurus Tyrannosaurus amped up even more. In this episode, you'll find that size and mobility are attributes that we will be paying very close attention to, since both real-life Carnotaurus and Tyrannosaurus Rex had different advantages in mobility. But today, these might not play out.
Yeah, the real Carnotaurus was more of a speedster, and the real T-Rex, of course, was the greatest of all powerhouses. But then we got fiction. How will this play out? I do not know.
Exactly how you think. You'll find out soon. Pay close attention as we begin with section number 1, size. Mass and corporal build will be taken into account for this part of the analysis. Note that the fight today is between CGI depicted creatures, and in the movies, the sizes change quite a bit for them to fit on the frame and simply to look good on the camera. Thankfully, some of the official stats seen in the media and DVD special featurettes will come in to help us out. Secondary media like toys and children's books tend to give contradictory info, so those will be left out to make today's Rumble the most even matchup possible. The Ravager, king of Skull Island, was a species evolved from the already robust Tyrannosaurus Rex, turning even stockier, bigger, and heavier. There were 3 of these seen in the film, and we're going to be using the most experienced one of the bunch, the bull seen in the last skirmish, and one that King Kong nearly didn't walk away from. Comparing the bull to Kong, we can get a good benchmark that is somewhat shorter at the hip than the ape is at the top of his head. This is identical as shown in the book World of Kong, a natural history of Skull Island, an invaluable source of information for today and for a future fight coming right around the corner. Now, this size chart doesn't give exact metrics, but matching them with what is seen in the book and using Ann Darrow's Naomi Watts as a measuring stick gives us a height of 5.6 meters tall at the hip and 15 to potential.
Okay, let's go ahead. Almost 19 feet tall and well over 50 feet long. Yeah, that's a very big bull.
Actually 16 meters long from nose to tail. This is already leagues heavier than Tyrannosaurus Rex, but we need a number. Plugging these specs into our modeling software to get volumetrics, using average body density equations for T-Rex as provided by Laramendi & Co., we can get a shocking weight estimate of 24 to 27,000 kilograms.
Yikes!
Freedom units, we're talking about 26 to 29 tons.
Woo! That's
seems
3
like
times the size of a real Rex!
T-Rex's hip measurements are the height of Jurassic Park's theropods at the top of the head. As film artist Greg Broadmoor put it regarding the making of the V-Rex, it wasn't about making a real dinosaur, it was about making it the most terrifying thing that Kong could fight. As for its horned nemesis, viewers of the channel may recall some of the exhaustive work we already went through figuring out how awesomely huge these apex abelisaurs are when we turned their horns against St.
I remember that
Disney's
video.
Dinosaur had 2, likely even 3 different Carnos featured on screen. There's a bit of confusion as to who was who in the last act of this film, with the common belief that this Carno was the big one, while some shots suggest it was the smaller Carno that survived the cave collapse. So, for today's fight, we'll have to pick the Carnotaur size that is as close as possible to the V-Rex waiting on the other side of the ring. This Carnotaurus seen on screen in this shot is as large as it gets, lining up pretty nicely with an official size chart provided by the home video release. This right here is the closest official metric we get with what we see in this scene, though the Carno we see here could have been larger. That being because this 10-foot Pachyrhinosaurus is closer to the camera than the Carno. This size chart seems to be showcasing the larger of the Carno pair, so we have a measurement of 7 meters or 23 feet tall at the top of the head in this posture, hip height at approximately 5.5 meters, and proportionally, using a 3D model as reference, we have a length of around 14.6 meters or more. For the weight of this creature, we won't quite use the same body density of a Tyrannosaur multiplied by the volume. Abelisaurs are about as far removed from birds as you can get when it comes to Cretaceous theropods, often having denser bones and less air pockets than Tyrannosaurs at the same size. Average body density is not too different, but it can factor. So, a while ago when we let loose 2 Carnos on St. Hubert, we were pretty conservative in our prior weight estimates, as to give these poor inhabitants a chance. Today, not so much. Abelisaur density comes into play on top of using the higher weight estimate for these Carnos, since we kind of did the same for V-Rex already. The horrible hornheads will enter the fight with a mass of 22 to 25,000 kilograms, or about 24 to 27 tons. Weight estimates for these animals differ by just around 2 tons for the lower and higher numbers. Barely a difference at this scale, but one still has a slight advantage. The V-Rex takes the first edge in this category. Whether it will be enough to secure a win will heavily depend on other factors coming up next. Section 2. Armor. During the design process of these animals, it was a conscious choice to make these villain skins very different from their relatively smooth ancestors. So, Tyrannosaurs, the lineage which the fictional V-Rex hails from, were a deeply nested branch of the Coelurosaur family, all which had feathers to some degree or another. The director of this film wanted the Ravagers of Skull Island to look less like the Jurassic Park animals and more like the creatures from the older eras of filmmaking, like the 1933 original, that being almost looking like bipedal crocodiles. The Tyrannosaurs stranded on this island over millions of years developed thicker skulls, and it's not too hard to find out why. Studies from 2022 noted repeated patterns of injuries on T-Rex skulls, suggesting that this species used their heads as their primary weapons, and V-Rex was no different. The keratinous buildup on the brows of the T-Rex were also visible in the more modern V-Rex, but more exaggerated. In this arms race on an island where literally any creature is one misstep from getting flatlined, even the mighty descendant of T-Rex had to push it further. So, unlike its smooth ancestor, V-Rex featured thicker bony osteoderms and scales along their body. While T-Rex didn't quite need this armor, especially being agile already and fighting head-to-head with other T-Rexes, these V-Rexes faced a wider variety of dangers that might have instigated the development of this armor, especially useful against the larger variants of Venatosaurus, hordes of Therapus mordax, and the 2 most dangerous opponents it could face, another V-Rex and Megaprimatus Kong. These apes being possibly the most agile heavyweights in the island, and capable of easily getting around the heavily armored head, and running the danger of getting flanked by members of their own species. That's right. V-Rex, coming from an already agile lineage of T-Rex, took it a step further by changing the anatomy of their ribcage. A larger gap between the last ribs and the hips allowed V-Rex to sneak through the dense jungles of Skull Island. But those who are really familiar with the anatomy of T-Rex might notice something lacking in V-Rex: the gastralia. This has been greatly reduced since the Cretaceous and no longer offers the same protection. Carnotaurus, on the other hand, meanwhile draws traits from its real-life relatives and exaggerates them. During the production of Dinosaur, T-Rex was actually going to be the main antagonist, until newer developments in the late 90s. Carnotaurus was introduced as a potential villain, and it made it into production a lot bigger than its Cretaceous ancestor, and a lot more heavily armored. So the real-life Carnotaurus, unlike what was previously believed, did not have spiky armor, as was previously depicted. Instead, skin impressions preserved with the body show large feature scales, hardened plates of keratin embedded in the skin with no bones about it. Big Disney Carno, however, seemingly had a mixture of these two. Hardened plates of keratin skin along its back and
that
flanks,
tail
topped with
alone is
spiky, bony
armor-plated.
armor. But it doesn't end here. Similar to Tyrannosaurs, Carnotaurus also fought with its head. A much more sturdy, thicker, and reinforced skull with keratin scales allowed this animal to absorb impacts. In fact,
and possibly slightly impale. I mean, look at those points! Don't tell me it wouldn't do any extra piercing damage. Hashtag to the D&D players out there, but yeah, still, look at those things. You're not only are you getting smashed, you're getting pierced.
the debatably canon skeleton display in Disney World's Animal Kingdom Countdown to Extinction is actually a gestalt of Carnotaurus and Tyrannosaurus skeletons, the head being a mixture of these two animals and something that may play in favor of the Carno down in another section. Note that this guy may possibly have had a more reinforced ribcage as well, even though not explicitly shown in the display of the theme park ride. Just like many other incomplete T-Rex skeletons, we do know for sure that both real-life Carnotaurus and Tyrannosaurus had more gastralia coverage than our V-Rex. Therefore, we can assume that Disney Carno likely had more armor in this area. V-Rex internally likely had the thicker skull. Carno is definitely not too far behind in that regard. V-Rex and Carno both have very well-armored backs. The Carno with a very high likelihood of being more armored internally in the abdomen, both with potential weaknesses that could be exploited depending on how these two fight. For now, we'll settle this as a draw for the two theropods. Section 3, Speed. Winning speed may not have seemed important past face-offs. However, today, the winner of this edge will have the ability to pick when the fight happens, on what terms, moving rapidly to increase blows, retreating, or catching up to an opponent that wants to cut their losses and try to take off. So the Tyrannosaurinae was the group where all the largest tyrannosaurs like Chuchungtyrannus, Tarbosaurus, and T-Rex all hail from. These theropods would grow up in height and length in the first growth stage before they started to bulk up as adults. Looking at both the natural history of Skull Island and tie-in video games, we can see that young V-Rex do indeed have this agile build before they bulk up into their adult form.
Yeah,
but at this scale, things do begin to change up on V-Rex. There is one difference in the internal anatomy of these two that might determine who wins this category. In cursorial predators that chase prey down over long distances, there is a certain golden ratio in the proportions of the upper leg versus the lower leg, involving a short and thick upper leg, but longer lower leg. This allows for plenty of muscle attachment, meaning the upper leg only moves a shorter distance to swing the longer lower leg back and forth to cover more ground. This saves energy, preserves momentum while running long distances. But V-Rex's skeleton here shows that the proportions have changed from the ancestral Tyrannosaurs. A longer upper leg relative to the side of the lower leg, and it also tends to walk with a much more bent-legged stance. Now, this may be good for spectacle, as this makes the V-Rex move around more menacingly. However, this is the exact opposite of what one would want for high-speed directional movement. Carno, meanwhile, brings a build that manages this kind of speed even at a large size. Both the design and skeleton display at the theme park are a Frankenstein combo of the real-life Carno and T-Rex. So, quick parenthesis here, viewers of the channel have heard us rant before about how some animals are realistically too big to function properly. If that is you thinking that while watching these animals move, then yes, you're right actually. However, in Monster Face-Off, this is literally one of the only physics warping phenomena we usually let slide lately. Otherwise, some of these fights would end up with both animals crushed under their own weight the moment we start the fight simulation. Disney Carno's build is a bit more optimized for long pursuits, and
with that same logic in reality, every kaiju movie that we would have ever seen would quickly end as soon as they take their first step. Timber Gojira! It's so sad, but in a way it's actually safer if we think about it, if they actually were able to withstand all those gravitational forces.
Its real-life relatives were absolute speedsters. Thanks to caudofemoralis muscles in conjunction with its thick tail, this animal was able to hit top speeds and maintain them for a long time. A 2011 study by Dr. Scott Persons and Dr. Philip J. Curry literally called this animal Dinosaur Speed Demon. Floridana also had a thick tail. Granted, it was more flexible, so it probably would get outrun by its real-life counterpart, but this one was seen to hold a sprint for a good amount of time, chasing down a herd of herbivorous dinosaurs, initiating the ambush from a very long distance instead of sneaking up on them at close proximity. And this happened twice. In this fight, the Carno, despite being almost just as heavy, has a better leg anatomy for speed, giving them the ability to set the terms for this fight.
I knew it!
Taurus.
Now we get to
4, Agility. Now is a good time to show where these guys are going to fight at the end of today's episode. Carnotaurus, as mentioned already, was seen hunting in open grasslands. Although V-Rex wasn't seen doing this in the movie, it is mentioned in the canonical tie-in book World of Kong, A Natural History of Skull Island, that V-Rex did at times hunt in open plains. So, assuming that these two did live in the same landmass,
but we also have to remember, if my anatomy little lessons are working, we see that Statosaurus actually navigating through dense jungle, so there would be a lot more demand for more agility and more flexibility to go through all those trees. So with that being said, I think this round goes to Vastatosaurus.
it is very likely that these two specimens will eventually contest over territory. These environments may have trees, shrubs, rocks, and other variables in the terrain that could be leveraged by the one who is most agile. Carnotaurus sastre may have been a speedster, however, the same study that called it a speed demon did note that they had to slow down to turn, or run in a wide angle to change direction. Thankfully, however, Disney Carno does have a different body build, again similar to T-Rex, though perhaps not exactly. Tyrannosaurs, coming from Coelurosaurs, did come from a lineage of agile animals that were used to maneuvering through dense terrain. The T-Rex's ilium or hip bone and muscle attachments made it possible for T-Rex to turn on a dime. Did Carnotaurus have this? Quite possible. Carnotaurus was also able to maneuver upwards on an incline on very uneven terrain, using its tail to turn its body radius enough for it to hit with considerable force. But one might think that these two so far are neck and neck in terms of agility. However, the Statosaurus Rex took it further. What initially seemed to be a weakness in armor now works in favor of V-Rex. It was mentioned in World of Kong that these rib bones along with the arrangement of the spine were reduced so as to let the V-Rex maneuver even more easily through the dense, shrinking terrain of this island. This evolved Tyrannosaur, apart from being even more agile, is now more flexible, and in a way, a less rigid body can help absorb more hits. See, we told you that certain aspects might not play out exactly how you think. In this case, it seems like an additional 66 million years of evolution and living in Skull Island came in handy for V-Rex.
That's a win for jungle dwelling.
V-Rex to win this category. Edge, V-Rex. Section 5, Intelligence. Dinosaur intelligence.
Okay, I'm gonna pause right here, because if I remember let's see, Vastatosaurus, from what we've seen in the new movie, isn't exactly studying how to kill its prey. It's just biting whatever, and sure, it might be able to mob its prey. I wouldn't say anything too much is going on in there, but the Carnotaurus able to hold a grudge? You would have to have a large amount of intelligence to be able to hold that amount of malice. Just saying.
Intelligence has been a topic debated for decades. Taking it a step further and comparing two fictional species, one being a speculatively evolved T-Rex and another an Abelisaur that strayed far from its own family tree, is going to be quite challenging. And we can only use their real-life relatives as a reference to a certain degree. So the general consensus is that many carnivorous theropods were broadly similar in intelligence to many modern predators like crocs, predatory birds, and some carnivorous animals. This spectrum may seem a bit broad, but don't underestimate crocodilians. These guys lately have been underrated for quite some time.
Crocs are the ultimate ambush predator!
Memory skills, deductive reasoning, use of tools, baiting prey, and even pack hunting. All things that most experts agree that tyrannosaurs and abelisaurs displayed. Both are capable of pulling off ambushes, understanding the importance of going incognito. Intelligence-wise, tyrannosaurs were broadly the smartest of the large theropod dinosaurs, though carnivores in particular did also show a lot of similarities, and was likely a cut above most abelisaurs in the smart scale. In fact, some research on the brain anatomy indicated Carnotaurus was very similar to some tyrannosaurs. So, does this dictate the edge in this category?
That's cool!
Well, not so fast. There is one factor that does tilt the odds. The Carnotaurus in the movie were still healthy, generally diverse individuals that had just started experiencing an extinction event. V-Rex, on the other hand, during the events of 1933, have been enduring an ongoing extinction event that depleted their genetic diversity. Remember this.
Yep, because the island ultimately sank from the 1920s and now is deep underwater. All the tribes, all the beasts, all the giant bats, all drowned. And they would never be seen or rediscovered ever again.
This island was getting smaller over time. More conflict between their own kind and the great apes brought both to the brink of extinction. This means generational inbreeding had already started affecting and afflicting the remaining V-Rexes. They may have
It is Dino Alabama!
been quite similar to a healthy individual. It's not like they were an RPG character that suddenly had their stats cut in half. But inbreeding has shown in modern species that physical and mental deformities come into play. One example is the captive populations of Bengal white tigers. This could also explain why the V-Rex in the movie acted so oddly at times. The filmmakers embraced the idea of these being inbred mutations. Traits like mismatched teeth, altered torsos, and getting distracted a little too much by Anne during the fight. Now, some might argue that the V-Rex thought this was Kong's offspring, but even an animal of this caliber should have put two and two together to realize this was not Kong's offspring, and not an
Wait a minute, what? Kong's offspring? What? Huh? What? Who said? I'm surrounded by idiots!
Important threat in their fight versus King Kong. Instead of going for the clear weak spots or trying to handicap the ape, they instead went for Anne. Their priorities weren't quite straight here, especially since these two species were mortal enemies, and V-Rex seemed to have lost sight of the big picture here. When motivated, however, V-Rex does show some advanced problem solving, figuring out the swing mechanic while restrained and tied up.
I didn't even consider that. I mean, use it. That's actually pretty smart. I completely spaced that. I reel back my previous statement. But yeah, I did not consider that. That's actually smart.
In order to reach Anne, all three worked in coordination, especially this part, where the two V-Rex waited until the third one pulled up to then
Seems more like mobbing, though, right here. Yeah, I was mentioning that.
Attack at once. Clearly, these are smart, but also a bit clumsy with their priorities. Carnotaurus robustus floridana, on the other hand, displayed complex hunting methodology, quietly sneaking up to Bruton and Krato, nearly killing both, and them usually being portrayed as predators who lock in on the objective. Decision-making that nearly paid off had it not been for unforeseen circumstances. Once Carno changed his target from the herd to the more vulnerable Kron, it made the decision to attack the Hadrosaur despite being on top of hard terrain. Had it not been for the unstable platform, it's very likely that both Aladar and Nira would have also been lunch. For this category, the fact that this particular V-Rex was afflicted with neurological issues due to inbreeding and lost sight of the bigger picture at play gives the already intelligent Carnotaur an edge in intelligence. Had this been a more genetically balanced V-Rex from eons ago, the edge would have ended up with the Tyrannosaur. But sometimes better tools can offset the balance of power. And what better than the next category?
Okay, weapons.
Section number 6, senses. Let us now focus on both of these animals' heads for a bit and study some sensory organs to see who is likely to lock in on targets better. One thing the CT scan of a Carnotaurus brain did show was that parts of T-Rex and Carno brains looked pretty different. T-Rex and Carno's olfactory bulb were comparable, but the portion devoted to eyesight was larger in T-Rex. Not that Carnotaurus had bad vision, no, but T-Rex had far better vision in terms of differentiating light from dark colors. Interestingly, even if it was by mere coincidence, in the film we find Carnotaurus have a hard time spotting Aladar in the cave, only spotting him when lightning lit up the cave entrance. So, while the 1930s generations of V-Rex may have had some deformities already, even inbreeding can only nerf an animal to some degree. Deformed or not, this snout leaves room for a much larger sinus cavity. Since this species presumably lived on this isolated landmass for millions of years, the sensory organs might have become more advanced and fine-tuned to pick up.
And plus there's also a jungle factor. They're absorbing all kinds of things, so you're gonna have to really have a very specialized nose system to hone into the specific type of smell you're trying to look for.
The slightest nuance in a heavily concentrated island with hundreds or even thousands of life forms. Comparing their line of sight, and V-Rex seems to have more binocular vision, being able to lock in on targets with better depth perception. That's if it decides to focus on the task at hand. The range of hearing for both of these creatures was probably broadly similar. Investigations into the inner ear show both Carnotaurus and Tyrannosaurus were well acute at hearing very low frequency sounds below 3 kilohertz. So, who wins the edge? At a distance, both of them would be roughly on par to detect each other with sound or smell. As they approach, V-Rex will spot the Carno first, but since this fight takes place in an open field, no real advantage is played here. What will matter today is the fact that V-Rex has better depth and light perception. In range, the V-Rex would have the slight advantage of picking his target slightly better.
Another barrel tiny edge.
Section 7, Bite.
Okay, let's see what we got so far. 3 greens go to the 3 wins for the V, 2 wins for the Carno, and a tie. Yeah, this is getting very close.
Effectiveness. It goes without saying that the 2 primary weapons for these juggernauts are the very obvious business ends of their body. These jaws eclipse all other beasts of the land seen in the fossil record. Starting us out, the Carnotaurus has an absolutely monstrous head. May not be immediately obvious in the movie, seemingly smaller in comparison to the iguanodons, but don't forget that either of these 2 iguanodons are quite large themselves. Today, we'll look at the amount of mouthful these teeth can crunch on, bite force, and the type of teeth at play here. To figure out a ballpark estimate of bite force, we'll be using formulas and data from Dr. Sakamoto. Then come up with a weighted average of what the bite of a robust Carnotaurus is, halfway between the size of an actual Carnotaurus and Tyrannosaurus. Then from here, scale up the jaw to the size of Carnotaurus robustus. Being a bit less conservative as we were prior, the resulting crunching force measures as high as 53 to 74,000 newtons.
Yeah. Could you, maybe convert that to pounds, please? I mean, those numbers sound really big, but I want to know what's a poundage. I know it's bone crushing.
And all of this is focused on thick, serrated teeth capable of shredding. Note, these kinds of teeth aren't quite the best for crunching like a T-Rex, but we are now talking about a good combination of slicing and crunching. Additionally, the fact that the Robustus's skull is a lot wider than Sastrae's suggests that this larger Carno comes equipped with extra muscles, necessary to bite harder than an equal-sized, narrower skull. This again is another perk of being an Abelisaur that adopted some physical traits of the wider-jawed Tyrannosaur. In other books, it's even mentioned that this Carno's jaws are wide enough to be able to swallow a human whole.
Dinosaur?
The V-Rex has quite a reputation to uphold.
Yeah.
As the size of an animal increases, the weight of the animal in question will increase at an even faster rate. This is square cube law action. So every muscle of these animals, including the jaw, will now have to work even harder against gravity. This is why when you double the size of a theropod, that doesn't automatically mean double the bite force. And this V-Rex, twice the size of a T-Rex, will not have more than double the bite force. And the work by Dr. Sakamoto supports this, since we have smaller Tyrannosaurs, half the mass of Tyrannosaurus Rex, but with more than half the chomping force. So, after observing the skull of this creature, we noticed something interesting. After 66 million years of evolution, the jaw structure actually changed a bit. Stouter and more robust in some regions, but leaner in others. The hole you see here in the back of the skull combined with this one on top of the head are primary attaching points for the jaw muscles to work in tandem with the mandible. What does this mean? These progressively shrinking keyhole shapes mean that V-Rex changed the way it bit down on victims, trading off bite force for a larger size. Since being this big and its chomp was already more than enough, otherwise at this scale V-Rex would likely smash its own skull. With this in mind, V-Rex would probably be a ballpark figure of 70 to 85,000 newtons of force. Hugely gargantuan and a big reason for the downfall of the Mega Primatus Kong species. To figure out the edge, some of these weird tooth deformities may work in favor of this particular V-Rex. V-Rex has the stronger bite and wins this edge.
Okay, so, yeah, we mentioned deformities, yeah. It might be due to the between some teeth fusing into one singular point. That might add some punching power.
But something to note here is that both of these animals have the necessary force needed to kill the opponent if bitten on the right spot. So, while V-Rex wins this edge, landing hits is critical. Other weapons may open different opportunities. Section number 8, Auxiliary Weapons. The jaws might be the business end, but either of these two have more than enough weight to throw around and use their body parts as devastating weapons. We'll be comparing the brow region of these animal skulls as well as the tail. Now, a big factor is rotation speed, which we already settled that the V-Rex would likely hold a slight advantage here. Had this been a hugely superior rotation speed, then we'd end this section and call it for V-Rex. However, we are dealing with a megatheropod with a very special set of weapons on its tail and brow regions. Starting with the skull, Carnotaurus robustus has been seen on screen to use these as a mace. Topped with a thicker, wider skull, the slightly slower rotation speed of Carno is made up by an impact inflicted by a smaller surface area, that being the small tips of these horns. Similarly to how the V-Rex's teeth snagged an edge in the previous section, the Carno's horns now have more piercing power. Against an armored opponent, it may at first seem confusing as to how these blows could pierce. Well, in the film, almost every blow from the Carno's horns were aimed low, and without a gastralia to help guard against these blows, these may prove a lot more effective than a blow from a relatively flatter surface. Tail blows are a maneuver used by both species. While V-Rex has more weight behind a blow and greater rotation speed, Carnotaurus isn't too far behind either. Even if slightly inferior in terms of force, not even that much to make a huge difference. The designers of Carno Robustus gave this fella another edge. Spiked ridges on the end of the tail turn this weapon into a scourge whip, not only throwing lesser opponents back, but also making these hits sting, or even cut if hitting an unarmored area hard enough. Does this even matter against an opponent of slightly greater weight? At best, it levels the playing field in the duel of tails. Head blows, however, matters more, since both of these fight predominantly with their heads. For this category, the Carnotaurus takes the edge for auxiliary weapon.
That's a no-brainer.
Section 9, X Factor.
Wait, there's a 9?
We are moments away from witnessing these two fight to the death. But first, we need to quickly go over some lore that affects the mentality of these two fighters, and what's at stake in today's fight. During the development of the film, the idea of Tyrannosaurus being a scavenger and not a hunter was heavily disseminated amongst the filmmakers. And since the Carno was initially supposed to replace the T-Rex, depicting Carnotaurus, whose name means meat-eating bull, as merely a scavenger, didn't sit right with the production team.
And I am so glad that we've proven that the scavenger predator is not a real thing. Hello! Hello, Alpha. Welcome to the stream. It's been a while. Yes, we are looking at Gucci Center. And let's see. That's right. Anyway, moving on to death.
Therefore, they opted to make this creature not only a hunter, but a shrewd pursuit predator. This goes a bit further. Apart from successfully hunting prey and tracking down a herd instilling terror on literally every other species, Carnotaurus lived in an extreme version of the late Cretaceous, with animals from completely different eras of the Mesozoic and more types of potential game than any other big predator did in real life. And given these abelisaurs didn't grow as fast as Tyrannosaurus, for a Carno to reach these gargantuan sizes, it would have been very skilled, experienced, and to some degree, a bit lucky. Giving it plenty of cause for caution and retreating from an unfavorable situation, as seen when Carno opted to go for easier prey instead of taking on a whole herd. Or after seeing the cave collapse took out its partner, instead of being vengeful, this fella decided to leave to hunt another day. But V-Rex, meanwhile, was living in a slowly crumbling world that was declining more and more by the decade, and every species had to fight tooth and nail to maintain themselves alive. Tyrannosaurs grew quickly by theropod standards, so it's likely that V-Rex did as well. And in an environment as tightly packed and crammed with competitors at that young age, mixed with mental degradation from inbreeding, you have the recipe for creatures that just don't know when to quit. They can hold back and be reasonable when confronting rivals of their own kind, but again...
Meaning these guys will just keep fighting until they die. So this is the really big question. A monster that is super heavily armored and able to hold a grudge, that will fight you if it loses, that will fight you another day if it loses so it can retreat, or a monster that just won't stop until you're dead or it dies. That's scary!
Against other species, they might push their luck, and are the types to press and get more aggressive even if they are outmatched. This can be reckless, and no doubt resulted in plenty of their species never reaching adulthood, picking fights with dangerous herbivores or rival predators. But it also means they might catch an opponent off guard who expects the fight to be over, only for these crazed V-Rex to ambush them and keep the fight going. We are now ready to reveal which of these megatheropods will walk out of a fight to the death. Carnotaurus robustus floridana wins the edge in speed, intelligence, and auxiliary weapons. The Statosaurus rex wins the edge in size, agility, senses, and bite effectiveness. Both creatures have similar amounts of armor, but arranged differently. Today's fight will take place in neutral ground, a vast open field with foliage and some dense cover. Terrain both animals are familiar with and identify as prime hunting grounds. The stage is set, the combatants ready. Coming up, the Statosaurus rex versus Carnotaurus robustus floridana.
Okay, let me just go, hold on, let me just go ahead and roll this back here. Okay, so, place your bets, Ammonites. Carno or V-Rex? What's your bet? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that jazz. Yeah? And, okay. Yeah, there we go. And, well, yeah, let's go ahead. Yeah, all the combats are set, and, well, let's get to it. Let's see the blood. Oh, yeah, it's two highly competitive apex predators. Real usually go with the retreat. Yep. Might not be the case. Yes, this is fiction, folks. Okay. Looks like Carno just made his kill. Again. Oh, and that dinner bell's just rung. Oh, there's no ambush here. They know they're there. Saying, come on out! I know you're there. Oh! First strike, first blood. Oof. Okay. to root for. Yeah, these are both terrifying in their own way. And keep in mind, one of them's from a family film. Okay. Ooh. Ow! I think he got him in the eye and. Okay. Okay. Right at the base of the tail, I think. Why are you running him? Okay. Okay, V-Rex is not letting him get away. That is a neck hit. Is this a draw? Are we gonna see? Is this how we? Okay. Okay, final blow. Oh! Wait, is this? Are we seeing this evenly matched? Okay, right on the leg! Oh! Okay, that was a lucky one, I guess. Well... Ugh. Wait, is he still fighting back? Oh, I guess the foot's... Wait a minute! Hold on! Oh. Just when you thought there might still be some left. Yep. I guess Alabama loses this round.
In this battle simulation and long slugfest, it was the Floridian champion who managed to survive this fight. But this was thanks to a few factors. Both were already pretty even in most categories, but in this particular fight with these builds, some things matter a bit more. The attributes that resulted in Carnotaurus being able to live another day were armor, the combination of speed and auxiliary weapons, but there's something else. While the V-Rex won the edge for bite effectiveness, Carnotaurus was not too far behind. Remember, it does not take maximum biting force to inflict lethal wounds to the opponent. Sometimes the amount of times you can inflict hits matters more. In this battle scenario, the encounter begins with both of these predators sensing each other. They know the other is lurking about, but in today's scenario, V-Rex manages to lock into Carno first. Attempting to use the cover of the forest to spring an ambush and avoiding getting spotted initially, the V-Rex was able to surprise the Carno. Its fast acceleration and speed left the V-Rex with a mouthful of tail. Being able to attack from both ends, the Carno reverses with a hit with his horns. Both of these animals are armored and are very close to the same weight. Their bites are capable of killing each other if hit on the right spot and long enough. Both are relatively agile, so it was inevitable for this fight to be a slugfest. factors such as the ability for the Carnotaurus to aim low during its horn attacks and fending off the V-Rex with the tail helped the Carno fend off the V-Rex in conjunction with his armor. Carnotaurus in their world were accustomed to extremely vast hunting grounds. There was plenty of room to share, so remaining here was going to be chaotic. V-Rex, on the other hand, was accustomed to tight spaces. Every inch of hunting real estate mattered, and seeing a rival species meant that letting it walk away alive was letting it come back to fight you again in the future. V-Rex was not done fighting. Carno, seeing that this creature was relentless,
V-Rex
has no other
just didn't
choice
know when
but
to quit.
this one out. Furious, and seeing how this one can sometimes get a bit temperamental, Carno realizes that this fight needs to be finished. Both, accustomed to using their heads in combat, show the same behavior in the battle arena. Except the small surface area making contact with the V-Rex nearly costs him his eye. Each impact is painful despite having a thick skull of his own. Carno seizes the opportunity to press the attack. The quicker Carno leverages speed to make his own headbutts more powerful, enough to set up an opportunity to finally reach the relatively undefended underbelly of V-Rex, an area the Carno had already previously injured. V-Rex tries to end this one last time, despite suffering many wounds. The V-Rex needed to get a mouthful. However, the speed at which the Carno ran caused him to topple violently. However, the Ravager had already been ravaged greatly by slicing wounds and goring. Carnotaurus knows this, and it backs off knowing that it won. No need to risk life and limb for a finisher when the opponent is just as good as beat. V-Rex is left to die in this scenario from blood loss due to repeated injury from a versatile opponent. This was a very close fight on neutral ground.
It really
However,
was!
other scenarios
I didn't
and
even know who
terrains
to
were
root
played
for.
in favor of the other. Fights between similar builds tend to go one way or another. For today, however, the smallest nuances had to be taken into account. Today, the final verdict showed that versatility coupled with fast execution can grant victory.
What a fight! Alright. Moving on to the next one.
Or Cryocidin Sedivenator.
Alright, hold on. Let's go ahead. Alright. Bioaccurate Bloop versus Grand Magi. Not sure what either of those are, but if you want me to watch all those other videos so I can get a bit of a understanding context, be sure to leave a like and subscribe and let me know on that. So let's keep going.
Just when you thought it was safe to get back in the water, the ocean
It's always safe in the water for me!
From a titanic struggle. You've seen our bioaccurate takes on two of the most legendary urban legends.
Yeah, that's a nightmare!
Sidon Sedivenator, the great amphibian that can swallow up whole whales in the southern oceans. And the bioaccurate take on El Gran Maha, taking form as a horrific, colossal hagfish haunting the Sargasso Seas. Colossa Now,
oh, wait, I think I remember now. Yeah, it's one of those thalassophobia videos where the sea monsters show up. I get it, yeah. But I wouldn't mind it doing a live react still. I mean, that's still on the table.
Now we pit both gods of the sea, studying their biology, weapons, and abilities to see who crowns themselves the sole apex predator of this vast realm. This is Cryocidin versus Colossahydrus. Monster Face-Off. Today, we'll be taken on a journey deep in the ocean depths to witness the first and final clash of these speculative marine monsters.
And final.
If you have absolutely no idea what you're looking at, we'll quickly summarize our past coverage of these two combatants.
That's good to know.
Our bioaccurate version of the bloop took most of the core look, but modified it into something that would work better in reality. Designed and illustrated by our in-house research team, then brought to life by our animation crew, this new bloop still pushed nature to its absolute limits. This take, called Cryocidin Sedivenator, a whale hunter also named for the iconic Greek sea god, also responsible for earthquakes. It is the last surviving member of a multi-hundred-million-year-old lineage of marine amphibians that adapted to hunting progressively larger and larger whales in the southern oceans. And at 300 to 400 metric tons and over 35 meters long.
But how would an amphibian whose anatomy that's, notoriously known to have a tail that's moving side to side instead of up and down, end up being able to change to the up and down stroke? That's what I want to know.
This would be the largest predator to have ever existed. Its rival is a more modern creation, but also one that took the internet by storm. Inspired by the story and image crafted for the bloop, creator Borisov Blois came up with the Grand Serpent and animated it in a series of videos that racked up tens of millions of views. His creation went from
like I
making
said,
waves
the
to making tidal
Thalassophobia
waves with
videos.
the animated clash of these two fantastical, ferocious titans when his Grand Serpent took on the original bloop. Our more biologically aligned version is another bygone beast descending from an
I never
uncanny
encountered
ancestor
them out
with
here.
a bit of luck. This ancestor, conodonts, were a lineage of jawless fish with some of the sharpest teeth to have ever existed. Most conodonts died off before the end of the Mesozoic, but in our altered history, one lineage split off from the rest, surviving one catastrophe after another with various adaptations that could grant them extremely long lifespans and indeterminate growth. Only one in a million, perhaps one in a billion, could reach gigantic sizes, and only a select few of that group could become true sea dragons. Colossahydrus uctina, the colossal sea dragon, named after the horrific horned serpent of Cherokee legend. Breaking the scales all the same at over 260 metric tons. This creature from the deep would be the longest giant predator to have ever lived at over 61 meters long. Two modern myths made real. Two titans that should never have met had the actions of mankind and a changing ocean not driven them together. Time to find out what happens when the living earthquake confronts the symbol of a storm. We'll start comparing the first set of attributes in question.
Okay.
Section 1,
Let's see.
Strength. If there was anything the 1998 Iguana movie got right, it was the tagline. Size does matter. Initially looking at the raw stats, a winner seems to be pretty clear. While they both exist in a range of sizes, the awesome amphibian Cryocidon seems to command a decisive lead when it comes to size and
it's
thus
way
strength.
bulkier.
However, the gap between them is not insurmountable, and there have been numerous cases of oceanic predators killing things many times their size, depending on their build and the situation.
Case in point.
The ferocious fish, Colossahydrus, has a very eel-like body that is muscular from front to back, and is capable of using that body to wrap around, reposition, and if necessary, bash and bludgeon. Its rival, meanwhile, has a body very separated from front to back, the front end being that Goliath gape of a jaw and forward flippers. Behind it, devoted almost entirely to swimming and propulsion with a whale-like tail. This means if the two got into a close quarters brawl, the bioaccurate bloop would only be able to really use half its front body as effectively, whereas bioaccurate Grand Maha can utilize almost its entire body. Still, the latter half of that body being used for propulsion isn't useless at all. Combat maneuvers like tail strikes or helping propel the sturdy front forward for a ramming attack are all feasible. More mass also does mean if the Colossahydrus tries to wrap around or latch onto its opponent, it's going to need to get a good grip or it will be shaken off. The difference is not as immediately obvious, but numbers do speak for themselves, so the Cryo still manages to pull ahead in a surprisingly close category. Edge Cryocidon. Section 2, Defense.
Yeah,
Both of these gigantic sea beasts sport plenty of armor that almost any predator would struggle to get through, except each other. Cryocidon's hide is its main means of insulation against cold water, being almost half a meter thick in several areas and highly resistant to punctures or stabs from anything but supersized attackers. Important for shrugging off bites from others of its own kind, fending off orcapods as they're growing up, and resisting pestering, nibbling, or gnawing from any overly aggressive deep-sea cephalopods or parasites like barnacles and deep-sea scavengers, when the frozen god is resting on the seafloor for weeks at a time between big meals. The Colossahydrus also has a tough hide of its own, but not quite as thick as the bioaccurate bloops, on account of living typically in much more tropical waters.
Like I said,
isn't the only defense being evaluated here. While the colossal sea dragon has less padding covering up its vitals, its skin has a hidden defense, also seen in fellow jawless fish, the hagfish. Hagfish are called slime eels for a reason, as one of their primary defenses, pores nestled within their skin, react to an attacker by firing out globs of mucus that react with the water around them. These pores can only hold a relatively small amount of mucus, but on contact with seawater, this slime rapidly absorbs moisture and expands to 10,000 times its original volume. For a relatively small hagfish, this is more than enough to gum up the jaws of an attacking deep-sea shark, or even clog the gills of a rival fish. One infamous traffic incident happened in 2017 where a truck hauling some still very alive hagfish overturned.
Oh,
And the panicked
God!
animals did their thing on contact with the water around them. The resulting accident produced so many gallons of adhesive mucus it stopped up cars and blocked the roadway. And now we're dealing with a jolly...
Could you imagine having that much slime in the road of where you live? Oh. That's a full-on slime right there.
This fish hundreds of thousands of times more massive. This means that if the cryocidin attempts to engulf and swallow its opponent entirely or partially whole, its insides could possibly get clogged up by this chemical defense. And the glue-like mucus might severely hinder its jaws if it got too much of it stuck to its teeth. With this chemical defense augmenting a still fairly resilient body, bioaccurate El Gran Maha takes the edge in
That's a
defense.
surprise.
Section 3, Speed. The physics of moving underwater is very different from moving on dry ground. On land, almost all motion in any direction depends almost entirely on how an animal pushes itself against the ground. But in the medium of water, animals are surrounded by matter about as dense as they are, and movement can be directed in all directions, alone or in combination. So this is why matters of speed can factor a lot more on sea battles than land battles. Down here, a big majority of fish and sea beasts can be classified under 4 major types of swimming. Pay close attention. Anguilliform movement, used by eels and sea snakes, involves a lot of lateral movement side to side to slither through the water, with the whole body rocking back and forth. Thuniform swimming, meanwhile, involves keeping the upper body almost immobile and straight, dividing the waters ahead with the tail and lower body doing the motions to propel the animal along. Between the two are other methods that fall somewhere closer to either side of slithering and rigid swimming. Why is this important? Almost all of the fastest swimming animals who can build up a lot of speed and maintain it use the thuniform method. And with a stiff upper back and huge head to keep stable, cryocidin easily fits into that category too.
Oh.
This means this awesome amphibian would be able to use its
Yeah,
front
I
end
was
like
go-
the bow
yeah, I
of
was
a ship
just
to break the
thinking
waters
that
ahead of it
this would
before
definitely
pushing
be
through
the
with strong
Bloom's
motions of its tail,
advantage.
conserving energy and momentum to lunge at surprising speed. Its rival, Hydrus, has a much more flexible body. This has its own advantages and adaptations to factor. For one, instead of just propelling itself with the latter half of its body and tail, this species of jawless fish have evolved 2 of their gill slits into siphons, similar to those in squid. Water taken in from the mouth or other gills is redirected into these nozzles to be fired out the same way a jet engine moves air, and can help this
So it
little
adds
sea
to
serpent
agility.
push itself through the water. Well, neither of these 2 oceanic titans are slow. Weight actually would be a big determining factor on which one was faster. And unlike on land, more mass can actually make you faster underwater. Since
Really?
gravity isn't pulling things down to the same degree, since most animals are
Makes
roughly as
sense.
dense as the water around them, having more mass gives you more inertia while you're swimming. The more matter pushing an animal forward, the more it can cancel out water resistance pushing it backwards. This is why some of the biggest whales like the blue and fin whale are actually some of the fastest once they get their momentum going. And with a decisive weight advantage, the frozen sea god has a lot more inertia keeping that top speed going than the colossal sea dragon, giving the realistic
Okay.
weight an advantage in both top speed and this category. Those who have seen Monster Face-Off episodes know that speed isn't everything when it comes to moving around underwater. Agility. Remember
Yeah,
what
that
we said
goes
about
to
the
the
spectrum of 4
sea
primary
dragon
swimming methods
thing.
vertebrates like fish and marine tetrapods use? As with all things in biology, there are trade-offs. Cryocidin having a body form closer to the thuniform swimming means it can push against the water harder, forward and backward, and can achieve a higher top speed than its rival. But this also means almost all of its swimming muscles are located on its back half, with only the flippers up front to push against the water and redirect its momentum. Those huge flippers certainly do plenty to help with steering, but as an ambush predator, Cryocidin prefers to commit to a charge and engulfing bite instead of pursuit and close quarters maneuvering. As covered in its own biology
Alright.
video, Hydrus' ancestors originally had a more angular form, but evolved the ability to hold their body more rigidly to swim forward at higher speeds. This puts them closer to the subcarangiform method of swimming. Add in those gill slits into spiracles
Yep,
similar
that
to
adds
those on
to
squids,
agility.
and it means the water Colossahydrus takes in via its jaws can be redirected and fired out through these ports. And not only fired backward to help the serpentine Leviathan gain forward momentum, but also being able to toggle which direction the siphons point to shoot the water out from, or even fire out one side at a time to make quick, sharp turns in one direction. With these adaptations and a more flexible body to whirl around, the bio-accurate Grand Maha takes another edge in this oceanic clash of titans. The two combatants are set in a collision course, but who will detect who first? How will this play out? How will this affect the battle? To find out, we need to take into account senses. In terms of senses, the difference between the two is a matter of quantity versus quality. Cryocidin evolved from amphibians that at one point lived at the surface or even crawled on land. This means its eyes had to adapt to much more dynamic needs of focus, precision, and distinguishing between different shapes and colors than an animal that spent most of its entire evolutionary history in the deep ocean would. It's one of the main reasons that marine mammals like dolphins have better eyesight than sharks, which infamously have a hard time seeing up-close objects and distinguishing certain shapes. This is the reason you hear about inexperienced great whites mistakenly attacking surfboards and boats, not knowing if they're food or not. But you don't hear the same thing about orcas that eat the same food. In addition to sight, this atrocious-looking axolotl cousin does have a decent sense of smell and taste to pick up chemical traces in the water. Since it also hunts whales, it would have the ability to hear, which is fairly rare for ocean predators since most fish are deaf. However, these senses would mostly just be used for figuring out the region a target is, rather than specifically pinning it down. For that, it has to rely on sight. Its rival approached life in the ocean very differently, belonging to a lineage of oceanic carnivores that go back to the early stages of the Paleozoic to some of the earliest fish to ever exist. Conodonts like Colossahydrus never left the ocean, and so they adapted very differently. As a whole, and speaking very broadly, this group doesn't use any one of their senses as the chief tool for detecting food or threats. Instead, they use all of their senses in different ways, without prioritizing any of them. Looking at fellow jawless fish relatives of today, as well as fossils of the bygone conodonts that gave rise to this stupendous sea serpent, we can see a myriad of detection methods. Not only are these some of the very few vertebrates to have more than two eyes, with some jawless fish having up to four, but these eyes are especially attuned to picking up different shapes and outlines even at depth. Alongside its eyes are the structures that give Colossahydrus uctina its name, inspired by the horned serpent of Cherokee folklore. These aren't true horns, but long sensory tendrils covered in specialized cells. Similar structures exist in modern hagfish, though in uctina they are far more advanced. These tendrils can detect small changes in water pressure, allowing the animals to sense nearby movement. They also pick up chemical traces in the water, like skin, oil, blood, and other substances. Even a creature that swims by each can leave behind a faint chemical trail which uctina can easily follow. Combine that with highly reactive electrical reception from cells located all along its body, and Colossahydrus can hunt in perfect darkness, without ever even clearly seeing what it is hunting. It also means it would be more easily able to track the position of a rival, even in the middle of a tussle that might obscure an area mired in silt, blood, or the slimy defense. The more advanced eyes would help the awesome amphibian target better in good light, but without light to contrast where the fish is, the more varied toolset of the colossal conodont takes a keen edge. Now to bloody business.
Very strange way
Section
to look
7,
at the world.
Bite Effectiveness. Both of these entities are so mind-bogglingly huge that trying to get specific bite forces would be almost pointless. Either of the two have more than enough force with teeth more than sharp enough that no amount of armor is going to completely negate their fangs taking their pounds of flesh and then some. Instead of looking at specific forces, which would highly vary anyways because of any number of factors like water resistance or how much the teeth are making contact, we'll be looking at what the bites of either would be capable of doing to each other. Colossahydrus starts out with a rather unique bite in that it doesn't actually have jaws. Strange as it is to think, jaws didn't actually evolve with teeth. Teeth actually came first, and were just used differently. Modern jawless fish like lampreys and hagfish use sets of teeth almost like a buzzsaw to carve into something, and either carve out chunks in the case of hagfish, or carve into the blood vessels as seagoing vampires in the case of lampreys. Hydrus was the giant descendant of conodonts. These arguably had the most complicated set of teeth that ever existed, lined with specific mineral components called nanocomposites
so
for extra strength, and so sharp there have been numerous
woodmill.
instances of paleontologists accidentally cutting themselves on multi-hundred-million-year-old fossils. So yes, these are perhaps the sharpest teeth that ever existed in the animal kingdom, and the mechanism they worked with was unique to them and called an element array. This works by opening and closing the mouth in all directions, flexing the teeth outwards, and they were tracking them in to hook in and slice through. And what makes it worse is this bioaccurate Grand Maha is either descended wrong or a close relative of the conodont Pandarotus. This particular species has some of the earliest examples of venom-injecting fangs in the animal kingdom.
That is
Venom by
scary.
itself wouldn't kill, but the compounds in this sea beast are similar to those in modern lampreys, a potent anticoagulant called lamfredin. This means that every time this beast bites into something, the bloody wound it leaves behind doesn't clot up easily in warm-blooded animals with rapid circulatory systems. A potential death sentence for any whale this predator decides to feast upon. Its rival has a much simpler and straightforward bite, but no less deadly. The bioaccurate bloop is essentially a stupendous salamander descended from a lineage of amphibians called trematosaurs. These seagoing amphibians have all the major hallmarks some of their more land-based relatives still have, and some tricks of their own. With a sturdy and robust jaw that can open over 7 meters, Cryocidon's species name of Sedivenator, or whale hunter, is there for a reason. This cavernous maw is built to open wide and engulf, lined with dozens of smaller teeth about 0.15 meters or 6 inches long, and it has 2 massive lower tusks extending out almost 2 whole meters each. These fangs are so big it requires holes in the top jaw to accommodate and slot them in, and are built to harpoon into prey. It also means if it snaps down on something thin enough to fit the entire fang through it, they are completely trapped. But the grisly grill doesn't end there. Lining the roof of the mouth are batteries of even more fangs called pterygoid and palate teeth. Just like some other ancient amphibians,
of course they have more teeth.
This means
Why would they have more
something
teeth?
gets past the initial row of teeth on the jaw, such as an entity being swallowed whole, they will get sliced, stabbed, and shredded before they go down the chute. Both of these magnificent monsters have impressive weapons that could certainly do a number on each other. One of the differences to better decide this category comes down to how that damage is.
You know, it actually really begs the question, if Hollywood actually took its job actually seriously and made monsters like this, would we see more interesting monsters like we're seeing in independent media? That's actually a very legitimate question. They probably will never learn, but it's definitely a question worth asking.
Inflicted. Hydrus has to bite and bite multiple times to inflict deeper and deeper wounds, as well as get more and more venom pushed into the bloodstream. It certainly could, and with those sharp edges on the teeth, it'll do plenty of damage doing so.
Yeah.
But on Cryo's end, we're talking about some serious piercing power, perhaps even capable of reaching vital organs. And anything inside its mouth would probably be met with even more teeth, grasping both prey and the edge in bite
Yeah, it
effectiveness.
only takes one for
the
the
culmination
bloop,
of this
but
collision course
versus,
is nigh. But before they engage in
1,000
bloody
cuts.
combat, the X Factor. While the ocean might not be big enough for the both of them now, we are going to assume the encounter that's about to unfold is first contact between both juggernaut individuals that represent some of the absolute pinnacles of their respective species. This means neither of the two know by instinct or experience what the other is capable of, nor had any ability to naturally evolve defenses against them. If that circumstance was different, it is possible they might employ different strategies. As it stands though, Hydrus would have been the lord of the equatorial oceans, spawning in the eerie floating forests of the Sargasso Sea that crosses over the Bermuda Triangle, whereas Cryocidon was the god of the frozen southern oceans around Antarctica. Because Hydrus adults have an extremely variable maximum size, with a vast majority being orders of magnitude smaller, they would be naturally quite cryptic, since stealthy habits and avoidance of other big threats might be the whole reason this gargantuan individual lived long enough to become this big. If it was more reckless when young, it would have been picked off by sharks or orca potentially centuries ago. Cryocidin, meanwhile, would have been much more accustomed to other gigantic animals, being in the same ocean and instinctively knowing more about how to react to them. After all, the whales in the southern oceans nearest the South Pole are the biggest that have ever lived, and a variety of species can be found near the icy waters. Species that are otherwise quite rare in more equatorial habits the ferocious fish comes from. On one end, we have a stealthy fish whose reasoning for becoming this large is avoiding big threats. And on the other, we have a massive amphibian who got this big by eating and fighting big. We are now ready to determine who will be crowned with the title of God of the Seas. Cryocidin's Cetavenator, with its colossal form, wins the edge in strength, speed, and bite effectiveness. The Slithering Titan wins the edge in defense, senses, and agility. For the scenario, and in tribute to the infamous animation pitting the fantastic versions of these creatures against each other by Borisov Lois, this confrontation will be caused by diminished food stocks, motivating a massive Colossa Hydrus pursuing migrating whales further south than it otherwise would, and heading for the southern Caribbean. At the same time, overfishing depletion of the Antarctic hunting grounds by humans has forced a gigantic Cryocidin to hunt what whales are migrating from the south, as well as attacking fishing boats en route as it heads up the South American coast. A collision of the two most gigantic predators to ever exist for the very first time starts.
Okay, before we start, place your bets. Bloop, or whatever that thing is. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Like, subscribe, and ding, ding, ding! Let's get the fight going!
Now.
Okay, planet Earth. Alright. Let's get afraid of the ocean. Alright, there's the bloop. And there's the freak. Oh, they definitely do. Oh, first blood! Oh, there's the slime. There's the wraparound. But can the bloop fight back? Oh, okay. I guess it doesn't have to really fight back that well. Okay. Where is it? Okay. I guess we're seeing an ambush. Maybe? Oh, wait, yeah, it's building up speed. And he's aiming for the head. You missed! Hit in the same spot again! Bloop! What are you doing? You got the weaponry! Okay, and it's wrapped around again. to worry about drowning. Oh wait, there's... Oh! Vitals have been pierced. That's just blood. Maybe a bit of slime here and there. But the underbelly's been severely punched through.
In a colossal clash that would capsize ships caught in the crossfire, It was the whale eater Cryosidon who just barely pulled a victory against the colossal serpent. But this one was close, especially given that the loser survived the battle with relatively decent health. When it comes down to raw stats, the two are basically at an even trade. Where one succeeded, the other wasn't far behind and got a victory in a different category. But neither totally outclassed the other, and many of their advantages were relatively situational. For instance, if the battle happened exclusively at night and in very dark water from the deep, the ferocious fish would have had a distinct advantage because its eyesight is better at picking up targets in low light, and its other senses better help it detect even what it can't directly see. All while its dark red color scheme actually blends in extremely well at depth because of how water filters out certain colors the deeper you go. But in contrast, if the battle happened near the surface or in the daytime, any attempt to camouflage in the dark by the Colossal-Hydrus would be more nullified, while it is totally unaware its opponent has a much clearer view of it and would see it coming. The mucus defense of the fish certainly would help stop up the jaws and surprise the amphibian, but the sheer volume of the bloop's maw, the ability for it to close off its throat to avoid choking on the slime, and the huge size of its fangs means that the slime couldn't stop all of the teeth. More importantly, the cryo, having its gills outside of its maw, meant that the same strategy that would potentially choke out a shark by clogging up its gills from the inside wouldn't work. The major deciding factor was who could hurt who the most, even if landing that death blow might have been extremely difficult for both of them. Had this bloop been derived from a giant shark or whale, it probably would have lost. This is because the anticoagulant venom would have been able to be much more effective at the doses involved. A hyperactive metabolism means much more blood flow, and even if the sea serpent was forced to retreat, constant bleeding out would weaken a mammalian bloop enough that the fish might come back for round 2 and finish it off. Similar to other amphibians, our death axolotl is capable of triggering something called metabolic suppression, shutting down parts of their body. This also means, as a whole, they have a much lower blood pressure than a mammal of similar size does. Less blood pressure, less blood flow. Less blood flow, less bleeding out, keeping the bloop in the fight just a little bit longer, and allowing it to keep up its strength even after injury.
You know, I'm actually glad I added axolotl DNA to Poseidon. For those that don't know about that video, link is in the description below.
Sharp teeth of El Gran Maha absolutely were capable of inflicting massive wounds on its opponent, but the weight difference and speed difference meant it couldn't capitalize off of that to the best degree. The cryo would either shake it off and speed away, or come at it in a charge over and over again until it managed to get a good hold, while minimizing the time the fish had to retaliate with its better agility. A scenario if the Colossal-Hydrus won, which absolutely could happen, would be death by 1,000 cuts. And in just slightly more than 50% of the scenarios, it didn't get to inflict that many. It might actually be the case that times the fish was victorious were instances the fight ended in a death, whereas the amphibian would win slightly more confrontations, but less lethally at times. After the whale eater's victory, Cryo and Colosso would likely forever avoid each other, perhaps focusing on different game. And with whale populations still down and fish stocks being depleted, there might be another apex predator either or both of them might start turning their attention to when at a smaller size.
Plankton? What's down there? I guess we'll have to wait and see what that is gonna be like. Alright. So, let's see. Just a second here. I'm just gonna go ahead and... Alright. Goku... Vegeta... and... Broly... Okay, Google themselves. Oh, this is... this is gonna be a very long one, so, not sure if I'm ready for this, if I'm gonna be honest. How much time do we have here? Yeah, that's gonna be a very long video. Not sure if I'll be able to do that, so I guess we can watch a couple clips here and there. Alright. Obviously I'm not gonna do the whole thing, but let's go ahead and get to this. Alright.
4. Vitamin D.
Okay, get your vitamins out! For it is the Prince of the Mother Effin' Saiyan!
Next.
Alright. Back to Capsule Corps!
Ladies, let us toast to our wonderful husbands. They work so hard to keep us safe.
Yes, indeed. Goku may not always be the most reliable when it comes to chores, but he has a heart of gold and is the best father to our children.
Debatable, but you see, this, I actually, I'll let this slide.
Broly can be a bit intense sometimes,
What do you mean by hint?
but he's so strong and protective of me.
Oh, come now, Chilai. Don't be coy. We all know how much you adore that big lug.
Oh, a little, yeah, just basically a big old teddy bear. I kind of question how in all of the abyss and all the hells Chilai is even able to survive a 9 to 10 foot, almost 1,000-pound muscular man that happens to have the power to blow up planets. She would have to be extra durable. I'm scared.
Well, I suppose I am rather fond of him. He's like a gentle giant. There's the truth. Now,
I mean,
was
in the
thinking
new
we could do
version,
something
certainly.
special for them this year. A surprise, perhaps.
Ooh, I love surprises. What did you have in mind, Chi-Chi?
Oh, wait, is this a
Extra
Father's Day video?
Well, I was hoping we could find a way to bring their fathers back from the dead for a visit. It would mean so much to them to see their dads again, especially during the holidays.
Oh my goodness, Chi-Chi! That's positively diabolical! I love it.
I don't know about that, Chi-Chi. Broly's dad was really mean to Broly. I'm not so sure that would be a good idea. Nonsense, Chilai.
Actually, Chilai does have a good point. He's not exactly the best father figure. And he was also working for Frieza, so that might be a very bad idea, just saying.
Everyone deserves a second chance. And think of how happy it would make Broly to reconcile with his estranged father.
Oh!
Besides,
Yeah, okay, yeah, I mean, yeah, second chances. I see you, Chi-Chi, but, it might have to be a little bit of intervention, but I see your point, too.
I'm certain my Goku would love to meet his father.
Absolutely right.
Under, better circumstances, and definitely not like, another certain circumstance that totally is not in the canon franchise. Yeah, just gonna leave it at that.
Chi-Chi, these men need closure, and who better to give it to them than us?
Exactly. So, how can we make this happen? Fortune teller Baba, perhaps?
Let me guess, you're
Bring
gonna
back
get
my
the
Goku
7
from the
Dragon
dead?
Balls.
Yes, brilliant idea, Chi-Chi. Baba's got connections with the other world. If anyone can pull this off, it's her.
But
The
are
other
you
world?
sure this is a good idea? Bringing back people who've been dead for decades could lead to some serious emotional baggage.
Yeah, dead for decades, yeah. Yeah, that is a a legitimate question. What would happen if someone came back from the dead who's been dead for like decades? Would there be a lot of mental tolls involved? I have a feeling that would be very stressful. The guy that came back from death, like, what is the world that they would be finding themselves inside of? They would basically be isekai, if you think about it. We see these kind of stories happen all the time.
Emotional baggage is just character building, darling.
What?
Besides,
Bulma, no!
drama that would be food. It'll
You
be like a
are
real-life
horrible!
opera.
Oh, I can already picture it.
My God!
I got a bad feeling about this.
I'm with T-Lay on this one.
What a nice day. It's peaceful, quiet. Oh, no way.
Vegeta, you are not ready.
It's just
Yep.
me.
Vegeta,
So long.
get out of there! You're not ready for this.
Vegeta!
Ah!
Hey,
No!
clown. What's up, Brody?
Vegeta!
Brody. Yeah, I'm not even gonna
Been
correct
too
him.
long. You haven't hung out with your best buddies in so long, even the people have noticed. Yeah!
Ah!
You haven't called us over to hang out or do anything in so long.
Oh,
Tell us,
no.
Broly. And right here and now, we're holding you accountable. It's time for us to do a Google video. Yeah, the googly woogly time.
Oh no! This is gonna be disastrous.
Googlies. Well, you just come into my life right now and tell me I gotta do a Google video. Well, let me tell all of you a little something.
Uh-oh.
Who the hell could that be?
Wait.
Now that you mention it, I feel 3 power levels. Yeah, Broly does
Three?
too.
Oh no. They did not. They did not. Oh, okay. Somebody's gonna be screaming at those women. I can already see it.
Wonder who it could be.
Oh, let me go get the door. And don't you two idiots break anything.
Yeah, sure, Vegeta.
Wait, what is that squishing sound? Vegeta? Is there something you'd like to tell us?
All right already. I'm opening the door. Daddy? Hello, son. Bardock! Well, if it isn't the little prince. Paragus! Where's my son, Broly?
Oh no!
Who's at the door? Yeah, who's out there? Wait, is that Dad? Father?
Kakarot, is that you? Man, you've grown so much since I saw you last.
Oh,
Look at
no.
you, looking like a chip off the old block. A true Saiyan warrior.
Minus the scar, Happy Father's Day, everybody!
Dad!
Yeah!
How?
Broly, my son!
Father!
Come here. Yes,
What?
good. Have these two Saiyans been mistreating you, Broly? Because if they have, they will hear from me.
Actually, this is not, I did not expect this. Bro, having a protective father, okay, I guess that's a better father than one could ask for, I guess.
No one's been mistreating Broly.
Yeah, Broly's our friend. Father, you're embarrassing me.
Nonsense, Broly. Typical Paragus activity, acting like a beta cuck in front of his own spawn. Obscene behavior. I don't want to hear that from a Nepo Saiyan like you, King Vegeta.
Oof.
Damn.
Woo!
Okay.
Not gonna lie, he's got you there. You were a Nepo Saiyan baby back.
Ow!
And your mother, Bardock, was one of my unpaid whores. Why you gotta do him like that?
He
Boy,
did
sure,
not!
son, the only thing that this Saiyan over here is good at is being a low-class level bitch. That's why he always bend the knee. Ask his wife. That's all he ever did with her. What do I expect from someone that ended up with a Saiyan that was so weak as her?
All right, you son of a bitch. If you want to go there, I will put you down.
Yeah,
Okay, now I definitely see where Vegeta gets it from. It really does run in the family!
don't you talk about my mommy.
You see this, Broly? This is what I call Saiyan ignorance. This is
is why I never hang around our kind anymore.
Dad, don't say that out loud. That's mean.
It's the truth, Broly.
All right. Look, we need to come together now. We're all Saiyans, right?
Yeah, what
We
is
all
going
have
on?
Our origins in the same place, and you guys are here now. How the hell did that even happen? You're all dead. Quite literally. Don't ask me, I don't know. One second I was dead, and then the next I was here with these two.
I concur. What Bardock says is true. One moment we were dead, and then the next we were at your front door.
Did someone use the Dragon Balls when we weren't even looking? I don't think so. I didn't see the sky go black or anything.
Yeah,
Wait a minute. If the sky didn't go black and there's no dragon, then how did... I mean, I know the ladies had something to do with it, but who did it?
He's got a point. We would have noticed if they were used. But whatever. You're all here now, and I guess we'll just have to make the most of it then. Make up for lost time and all that good shit.
Ooh, I got a great
Oh,
idea!
boy.
Why don't we all do something together that we've never, ever had the opportunity
No,
to do
Goku!
before?
No, Google is not a
I
friend!
knew what you would do!
No!
No!
What do you want to do, Kakarot?
yes. Tell us.
No!
What is it?
No, nothing to worry about! Nothing to worry about! No, nothing to worry about!
You don't know what you're asking for!
You really don't!
A Google family video!
No! Don't
What
do
the hell
it!
is a Google?
It sounds like an alien race we subdued into dominance. I don't
No,
know.
no,
if
no,
that's
no,
true,
no, no, no,
but
no!
it's
You're not ready!
close.
You're not ready! No, 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 no!
Dead!
Calm down, Broly.
Okay, fine. I'm outvoted in my own house, so I guess...
Oh,
You're the best
the
Vegeta
PTSD is gonna roll through the roof!
roof!
Okay, then. So what do we do?
Yes, how does this work? Yes, son, tell me, how do we do this?
Basically, I type into this search engine, Google, and see what images pop up when I mention one of us or all of us.
Sounds pretty elementary, son. Go ahead, then.
A few inches
Oh,
later.
no,
All
they
right,
are...
then. Here we go. Ho ho! Look, it's my father
Oh.
and your father, Kakarot.
Woo!
Okay,
They look pretty
that's
cool.
easy.
Yeah,
Yeah, nothing bad so far.
With the Saiyan armor.
Ah, yes,
But
I
something's
remember
about
this
to
quite
go
well,
very
Father.
wrong. I can
Don't you
smell it.
remember? I showed you what a real Saiyan royalty could do on the battlefield.
Oh, how could I ever forget it? I mean, you literally paraded around saying, I am the king of Saiyans, bow to me.
Yep. Like father, like son.
These two had quite the rivalry, Broly. They would always compete at every turn.
Really? You would compete against each other?
I would just want to assert my dominance, boy, that's all.
I just wanted to shut your high-class mouth.
Ooh, kind of sounds like us, Vegeta.
Oh, shut up!
Yeah, it really does run in the family,
What is
evidently.
this image? Oh, yes, this is another, version of yourself.
Another version of my father? Yeah, that's like the non-canon version, I think.
Oh, no.
Canon? I don't even know what
what?
that means.
It means it's not real, you damn low class. Haven't you ever read a book?
Ah, shut up!
In any case, what am I holding?
You're basically holding a thing that's like that collar you put on Broly, but you
Oh, no.
put it on his head and you can basically control him.
I would never do such a thing to Broly. I only put the collar on him because I was worried about his safety. Don't you understand? It's because Broly didn't know how to control his power.
I understand, Dad. It hurt a lot, but I know you were just looking out for me.
Oh, look at Broly, just being a big old softy again. Broly, you deserve better!
Of course, Broly.
So let me get this straight. You put a collar on your son?
I'm not gonna lie, Paragus, that's quite vulgar behavior. I think it's quite hilarious that I was the one to tell you that your son was going to be volatile, and yet, you put a collar on him. Look who was right after all.
You were just jealous of Broly. You were jealous that he was stronger than your son, Vegeta. Hey, let's stop all that now and do this Google, all right?
Okay, yeah, no need to kill each other.
Nothing silly. Yeah, let's calm down and take a deep
Okay.
breath.
It's still pretty messed up, but fine. Let's
Yeah,
keep
it
going.
really is
Sure,
if you think
whatever.
about it.
He's just jealous and obsessed with his vengeance.
I will end you, Vegeta!
The day you left, Paragus, did I ever tell you that I had sexual relations with your wife?
Oh no! Oh, you monster!
I hate you! I know this truth is hard for you to swallow, Paragus, but let me assure you your wife...
It really does run in the family! Damn you, Vegetas!
Indeed.
What is he talking about, Mommy swallowing?
Just
No! He's swallowing lots of water. Yeah, always loves to stay hydrated. Yeah, drink lots of water, guys. Yeah, this is good. I'm gonna. Yeah, just drink water. Yeah, just drink water.
Broly, don't ask. It was food.
Food?
Yeah,
Okay.
let's go with that.
Have my vengeance. Oh, this image has all of you as Super Saiyans.
Oh,
Yeah, that's really cool. Dad's a Super Saiyan, Bardock's a Super Saiyan, and Paragus. Yeah, Dad, you look so cool with it. Your stash really makes it pop.
I have to say, it's just destiny fulfilling itself, really. The king of all Saiyans being...
except you didn't live long enough to elevate to that extent. Just wanted to point that out.
The legend is only to be expected.
You say it's to be expected, yet you've never done it.
And you have?
Well, in some contexts, yes.
Really?
Oof.
You've gone Super Saiyan, huh?
Well, technically, Bardock has done it in other continuities.
Yeah, yes. My dad's pretty awesome.
Sounds like a lot of cheat codes to me.
I have to
Ouch.
say it sounds that way to me as well.
All I hear is a bunch of bitches bitching.
Ouch!
You know what I hear is some low-class Saiyan glazing himself. I thought you had a wife for that. Oh, right, she's dead.
Okay, you son of a...
Oh no!
Hey, come on, let's just get
Yeah, let's
going.
not kill each other!
Going, please.
Fine.
Move aside, son. Let me take a gander at this.
All right, Dad, if that's what you want to do.
You're
Let
not
us
ready
see,
for this.
Yes. Bardock, you really went out quite delectably, I have to say.
Yeah, very funny. You want to look up images of me in my worst moment?
Oh, Dad, I don't think that was your worst moment. You went out really strong. Yeah, I think that was pretty cool, to be honest.
Okay.
Yes, he might have went out strong, but he still died in the end.
Come on, give him some
He died
credit!
because he couldn't finish the job. This is always what happens when a low class thinks he can be the main character. He gets put back down where he belongs.
I'm not sure if you've ever heard the story of Dave and Goliath. And maybe a few other stories, like, Odysseus. I'm not sure if we should tell him or not.
You died literally right after this. I mean, he's got a point, Dad. You did die. And also, I have to say, respect to you, Bardock. That was some gangsta shit. Yeah, thanks, I guess. Actually, move over. Let me try this. Ha 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 ha!
Ouch!
Look at the king of all Saiyans laying flat on his ass after
Ouch!
one punch.
And it,
Serves you right, you kingly troglodyte. First,
I mean, to be fair, we are talking about the infamous Frieza here. But then again, he is at his weakest form, so... I mean, I can both say it's not exactly the worst thing, but it's still not exactly a good look.
Firstly, both of you can lick my balls, and secondly...
Hey, now!
I did not go up that way at all. I was blown up with the entire planet. But if you want to say this is another version of myself, then I would assume that I still attempted to fight. Unlike you, Paragus, that ran with their tail between their legs.
I ran to save my son, you bastard! All right, hey, cool off, guys, cool off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's move on to another image, I guess.
It was a different version of yourself. Yeah, so let's calm down. Here, have some cookies. And waffles!
Cookies and waffles?
Where'd you get those?
Oh, this is excellent, Broly. Yeah. I like this. It's pretty delectable. I wish we had these on Planet Vegeta.
I can't believe that worked!
The power of cookie waffles.
Where'd you get...
Look
Oh,
at
come on!
these! You see it?
You really gonna do this again? Why? Why'd you gotta point that out? Come on!
Sorry. Sorry. You're really laughing at me now, Bardock? Sorry, man. It's just pretty funny.
I mean, you're...
Sorry. Just coughing.
Hey, you guys stop making fun of my daddy right now, or Broly gets angry.
Broly, listen, they were really building respect, okay? Okay, look, I see the meme, I know the jokes, but, look, listen, Goku and Vegeta, they both tried to hold it in, okay? They know it's not funny. It's contagious, okay?
Broly!
Whoa, easy, big fella, easy.
Wait, why is everyone so worried? You don't want to know! Hey!
Yeah, you don't worry about it!
What is it?
Broly?
I'm pulling my waffle out!
Waffle! Yeah! Waffles!
Kakarot,
Yeah.
after dealing with as...
Wait, now that I think about it, there are waffles. Donkey! Where are you? I know you're in there, you're drinking and screwing. I know were you working the waffles again? He's screwing dragons and making waffles while doing it. Donkey needs to be stopped.
many Broly crash outs as I have, you're always ready.
Good point.
That demonstration was all I needed to see to know that I was right about your son, Paragon.
Dad, not now.
Oh, Dad, look, it's me
Okay.
and Mom.
Yeah, I really like this image here. It's a shame
Okay,
that
yeah,
Enid
this is
wasn't
actually,
brought back.
wholesome.
I know she would have loved to talk to you, son.
Me too, Dad. I still don't know why you're here or how you're here, but I'm happy you are.
Oh, aren't
Yeah,
you
this
all
is
getting all
awesome.
warm and fuzzy? Yes, of course they're getting warm and fuzzy. That's low-class parenthood at its finest.
Excuse you!
Sweet.
You all look good together. Yeah, thanks, Paragus.
Why don't you two start making out then, if you're going to compliment each other like that?
Hey, come on.
Oh, God, not this!
I remember doing this quite a lot with you, son.
Oh, gosh, that looks like it hurts.
Yeah, talk about
Yeah.
cruel and unusual punishment.
Get Child Protective Services here. Hashtag parenting.
Of course you would do that to your own son, King Vegeta.
Oh, Vegeta, your poor little tail.
I was building his character and trying to strengthen his weakness. After all, a Saiyan's tail is their biggest weakness. I wanted my son to be prepared.
Yes, it was my weakness. After all, it was good training. I didn't have to deal with that same problem that Raditz did.
Of course not, because you are a prince. A lot is expected of you, and I wanted you to be prepared.
Sounds like to
Of
me you
course.
just wanted to be a piece of shit.
What about just
He
hanging
really
out and
was.
talking?
Listen here, Kakarot. I do not know what you and your father did in your household, but in our household, we raised men, warriors. We did not talk about our feelings. We trained. Because greatness was a part of our house, we bred rulers, conquerors of the entire universe.
And yet lacked therapy.
Because it was destined and foretold.
More like destined and foretold that your entire family would have issues.
Ooh, that's a burn more than Daddy
Yep.
knows. Ooh, man.
I am just going to move on.
Why do I
What?
feel like someone was talking about me?
Trunks?
Oh, yes!
Oh!
Batman.
Ooh, that's so
It's the
cool.
Batman!
Look great in the outfit, Vegeta.
Thank you, Broly.
Yeah, you look pretty cool. Black suits you.
Oh, what is this dreadful outfit, boy? A Saiyan royal such as
Dreadful?
yourself should not be caught in such dreadful attire.
Father, this is literally one of the greatest fictional characters
Yeah! You ever heard of The Dark Knight?
in all of, like, comic book history. I look goated.
No, you don't look goated. You look like one of those Saiyans that don't belong in my family, if I'm being honest.
Dad, what the hell? Can I like some things?
You can like things, son, but you should never look that way. It only brings shame to my family. I'm disappointed in you.
And what are your standards, really?
Wow, such great parenting. You should give yourself a pat on the back. What do you expect from the Vegeta family lineage? They always treat their family as good as they do their people.
useful until they're not. Both of you can shut up when I'm raising my son. You have never had to rule anyone but your own desires. I have a whole race of people to take care of, and my son will...
Except that the entire planet of your people is gone. Care to explain that, Papa Vegeta?
not be wearing such dreadful attire. Dad, I am my own man, and I will wear what the hell I want. And you will wear what you want then, but you are not welcome into my house. Well, I won't come home!
You know, Vegeta's relationship with Trunks now starts to make sense when you put it all together. Yeah, now that I start to see it, I understand. Yeah, that's the second time today.
Yep.
Well, I guess I should go call Goten. We haven't hung out in a while.
Ho ho ho! Behold,
Okay.
you low-class Saiyans, this is my queen. Behold, Celera. Ha ha! Behind every great king is always a great queen. The woman is more than a great
I
parent.
guess they had
It's like a
saber-tooths
toy.
on their
She is
planet.
intelligent, exquisite, and knows all the fine arts of combat, amongst other things. Dad, I really don't want to hear you talk about Mother this way. I do not quite care what you want, boy. I am your father, and I will talk about your mother how I please, and you will not do anything about it.
Oh, God, we're gonna hear him talk about his wife all day.
The only thing that came out of that whole time of you being king that was any good was your wife. Because at least she cared about the Saiyan people.
Really?
Ouch.
Was Vegeta's mom that cool?
Oh, yeah, she was strong, way stronger than him. And
Oh!
honestly, she was way out of his league. I know.
Oh dear, I think I see the insecurities coming out now.
Don't know how he got her.
Of course she was stronger than me. You think I would end up with someone that was weaker? Ah, please. I have standards. I like a woman that can destroy me in the bed, intellectually and physically.
Wow, that kind
Damn.
of does sound a lot like you, Vegeta. It really does. It sounds like how he is with his wife, and especially that Android 18 woman.
Ah, shut
Oh,
up, boy!
damn.
And Dad, I don't want to hear any more about you talking about Mom that way. Ah,
Now that I remember, doesn't Vegeta have a harem in this channel? Papa Vegeta, I thought you'd be proud. Guess some dads are just impossible to please.
let's just move on.
Sounds like somebody's a little shy, huh? Yeah.
Shut up!
Oh, yeah. Now, look, boys. Now, this is a real Saiyan woman.
Hot
Yes.
damn!
Oh, it's Mom. Oh, she looks so pretty.
She looks absolutely radiant, Bardock.
Why, thank you, Paragus.
I have to admit, Bardock, I might have been wrong about your wife.
The king of all Saiyans being wrong? Isn't that a first?
Yes, I have to admit, Bardock, I was indeed wrong. Your wife may be weak, but she is strong where it really counts. As they say,
Okay,
her breeding
I'll
hits
take
are
that.
well over 9,000. King Vegeta, if you keep talking about my wife that way, I will end you. Far be it for me
please
to
take it
deny you
outside.
without fisticuffs then, Bardock. Come, you low-class scum. I'll show you my foot dive. Yes. Hey! This is my house, and it's my rules. We are not doing this here.
Yeah. Let's just calm down, okay? And let's do another image. Yeah, come on. Let's not do stuff like that. We're having fun.
Fine, whatever.
Saved by the bell again, Bardock. Hot diggity dog! Woo! Woo!
Okay, yep, there's a lot of cake on this one.
This is what I call prime time motherland yams. I'm talking about culture appreciation. I'm talking about
Yep, I see it.
celebration. I'm talking about the pride of the Saiyan race. I'm talking about Saiyan cheeks.
Get this man in front of the choir. Jeez.
But Vegeta, I don't see any yams. Yeah, I don't see yams either. What's going on?
Of course, the prince is exactly like his father, a complete deviant.
So, in House Vegeta, not only do they have Nepo baby, egocentric, know-it-all, think they're God's gift to all Saiyan creation Saiyans, they also have an insatiable need to sow their wild oats.
You all can complain as much as you like. Our entire line is made to battle and lay the seed, and it's something we do quite well. And dear boy,
Okay,
guess what?
yeah,
You
I
have
see it.
exquisite taste in cheese.
Yeah, I see the family line.
She might be
I
low
see how it goes.
class, but that ass is high class. Yes,
Damn!
boy. Dap your old man. Ha ha! Yes, 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 Dad. My man. Yeah, that's what I like. Now bring it in. Bring it in. Yep. There you go. My pa.
Okay,
my
moving
boy.
on, please.
Hey, yo, Bardock, if Foster ever comes back like you, I'm just saying I might need to holler at her saying.
Oh, I'm sure you would. Who am I kidding? She'd probably like it.
Come now, Bardock, why don't you help wingman for my boy, huh? Help him enjoy some of that low-class posterior.
No,
Please,
I'm good.
no.
I don't really get what's going on, but it is kind of nice to see Vegeta and his dad bond after all that. Yeah, especially considering how badly they were arguing, but now they seem to be getting along.
Of course they would get along over something like this. Holy shit, Dad, you're a Super
Okay,
Saiyan 3!
hello.
A Super Saiyan 3? You mean to tell
And
me,
with
boy,
the Broly
there's
collar,
another beyond
too.
The Super Saiyan of legend?
Yeah, there's a Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 4, and Super Saiyan Blue, Super Saiyan Blue Evolved, oh, Super Saiyan God, and Ultra Instinct.
And also, Ultra Ego. That's a whole lot of damn transformation.
That's a
And to
lot.
be
Yeah,
honest,
it really
there's
is a lot of
Even I have
transformations.
my own form.
I'm not gonna lie, I lost track of forms a long time ago.
I
thought
lost
the
track,
Super Saiyan
too.
power was a legend. Little did I know there was 100 other ones after.
Well, it's
So this actually begs the question: what really is a legendary soup transformation at this point?
not really 100, but I get what you mean.
But all things considered, this image is pretty heat. Yes, it is pretty fire, as the kids say. Ah! Vintage Saiyan Trinity right
Okay,
here.
yep,
Me,
back to the classics.
Nappa, and Raditz. You cannot beat this type of aura.
Not gonna lie, Vegeta, the aura is pretty good. You guys look great in that Saiyan armor. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, you guys look awesome. But wait.
Should I cosplay as that armor? Any artists out there wanna, take inspiration and maybe turn me into a Saiyan? Just saying.
How come I've never met Nappa or Raditz? Well, Raditz is my brother, and he came to Earth and he tried to recruit me. but then he
And
kidnapped
short
my
answer,
son,
they're
and then
both
I had
dead.
to take him out and beat him up. Then I held him so Piccolo could kill him, and well, here we are.
So you mean to tell me my son ended up kidnapping my grandson and you let a Namekian kill him?
Not gonna lie, Dad. Big Bro had it coming. And besides, Piccolo also killed me too, in the process.
You know, I always wondered what that guy meant when he asked me what my wish would be, and I wished that my sons would thrive. Little did I know it would end up like this.
Well, for what it's worth, Dad, I think I've been thriving pretty good.
Yeah,
For what
it's
worth,
true.
Bardock, I guess your son turned out all right.
Well, I guess.
I think your boy hit his head a little too hard.
Hey!
Hey
I
now!
only hit my head a little.
Let's face it, Kakarot, you hit your head hard.
Wait, you mean Kakarot hit his head as a kid?
Yeah, I did. And I forgot all my memories. Wait! You guys never told me what happened to the bald guy Nappa, though.
Oh, I killed him because he wasn't being useful and he was just being a hindrance.
Wow,
Yep.
so loyal to your crew.
Not surprised at all. And that is how you handle useless Saiyans. Good job, boy. Good job.
Oh, come on! Not this! No! Too
What's
soon!
going on in the image?
No!
I don't get it. It's just-
Broly, listen, don't even worry about it, no, stop
Dad,
it, stop
why
it,
does it
don't,
look like my hair?
stop,
Prince Vegeta,
no,
what exactly
no,
is this image about?
no,
Yeah,
I'm good, I'm interrupting,
Look, I'm no scientist, but I know
we are not
exactly
dealing
what's
in
going on
this!
in this image. It's related to your collar, Paragon.
God damn it!
You may be an average warrior, but you are indeed a brilliant scientist.
I don't know who drew this, but you should be ashamed of yourselves for bringing that here.
Is that a reference that I should know? I'm
No!
not a scientist at all.
Absolutely
and I'm not
not!
an average warrior.
You have a strong opinion of yourself, don't you?
You mean to tell me they're making fun of me and Broly?
No,
Ouch!
they're more making fun of just you and the shock color being related to someone in real life who shocked his dog,
Oh!
or at least they say he did.
Oh,
Come on!
so it's like one.
It's actually been confirmed. Vegeta, why did you have to explain it that way?
One of those meme-a-bobs.
Yeah, sure. Let's call it a meme of a
Yeah.
bob. Whatever it
Yeah,
is,
that's
I
true.
find it quite funny.
You can just go ahead and fuck yourself, King Vegeta.
Hey.
You don't have to get so emotional about it. It's just a damn picture, Paragus.
It wasn't bad enough that everyone had to talk about the way I died. But I'll be damned if I let you all talk about me and Broly and our relationship in such a manner. Dude, relax. It's just a meme. Let's move on.
It's okay,
Yeah,
Dad.
I don't want to look at this anymore. Again with the cake!
Whoa! Whoa! Sorry.
Damn!
Sorry, Marseille.
Okay.
Sorry.
Vegeta, calm down!
By the cheekial rotation in
Vegeta!
The gravitational pull had me all kinds of messed up. But
I
I'm
can
good.
see
I'm
that.
composed.
Um,
I'm centered. I'm focused. I am
I can
ready.
tell.
Does he seriously do this every single time?
Yeah,
From what I can see,
Muchacho
yeah.
kinda does this every single time. He's a bit of a goon. Yeah,
Oh.
it is a gooner. I wish you'd stop with that, Vegeta. Come on.
I'm not surprised at all. Whatever this gooner stuff is, it really represents the Vegeta family line perfectly. Perhaps you would like a male companion then, Paragus? What? No, I'm not wanting a male. I'm not even gonna dignify that. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I love me some fine women, and they love me. That's my
Yes,
boy.
we can tell.
Cause, isn't he?
Oh, yeah. Oh, snap, it's my dad and Bardock having a match. Now, I like this.
Okay,
It looks
yep,
pretty
this
cool.
is cool.
Yeah, it does. My dad and your dad having a whole sparring fight? That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, if your dad wouldn't be a little scaredy cat and actually spar.
I'm not a scaredy cat, Bardock. I will take you on if you want to squabble. Like I told you before, if you want to go one-on-one, I'll show you my foot dive, and I'll put you in your place in the low-class dirt.
Unless, of course, if it goes the way between Prince Vegeta and Goku went up against, why do I have a feeling that it's definitely the same story as father and son? I'm totally seeing it. I'm not even gonna comment anymore.
So bring it on. As long as King Vegeta gets put in his place, I'll be happy. You know what, Paragus? I have had enough of hearing your #1 haterade mouth blabber and blabber so damn much, slobbing and knobbing on my damn name so much you might as well be one of my unpaid whores. You, sir, are really in need of this kingly penis. Otherwise, you would not be slobbing on my name so hard more than my wife. And I get it, Paragus. You've got a vendetta against me ever since I put your boy on that planet. But you didn't want to see the fact that your son's power was volatile, and it could destroy the very fabric of Saiyan culture. But it was too hard for you to...
Or it could be the fact that you're just jealous that he actually surpassed your son without even trying.
Understand. No offense, Broly. You seem like a nice little kid.
No offense taken, but it was kind of mean for you to do that. Yeah, that was kind of cruel.
Yeah, Pop, I didn't have to do that. Being a king of an entire race comes with responsibility, boys, and hard decisions. And that day, Paragus, I made a very hard decision. And
I
clearly
bet
your
you
father
did.
cannot let anything go because he likes to hold grudges. Well, if you like holding things so firmly, Paragus, firmly hold on my balls so you can grasp them and see what a real man is like. Because you know something, Paragus, you've never done anything with your entire life other than serve people. Get on your knees like the little bitch that you are.
Damn!
Throw your hands up and squabble. But you're not going to squabble, are you? Because you're nothing but all talk and no bite.
You know what? I'm gonna just say it. I haven't seen a Saiyan cook this hard since Planet Vegeta
Very
got destroyed,
cooked.
and I would know. Ooh-wee. Kakarot, do you smell that?
What are you smelling?
Barbecue.
Smells like burnt ass. Ooh.
Very burnt.
Ooh, that smells bad. Dad, are you okay? You're not saying anything.
King Vegeta, you will one day understand my full vengeance. And if you want to have a bout, we can fight right now. Then squabble up, bitch.
Oh
Squabble
boy.
up. Not right now.
What?
I want to spend time with my son.
Pathetic. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Chief. That ain't it. That ain't it.
Leave Dad alone, guys. He doesn't want to fight now. I wish someone would ask me to fight.
Shut up, Kakarot.
Ooh, they got Bardock in my dad's gear, and it's all colored in his color.
Damn.
Looks clean.
Yeah, Dad, you look really good with King Vegeta stuff. It's
I
just
see
colored
it.
in your style. It looks awesome. Yeah, it looks really Mondo cool.
Well, for what it's worth, I appreciate
All right,
the compliments, and I have to say.
move on a little
Man,
far.
Vegeta,
Oof.
they really don't like you in these things, huh?
Ouch.
I love to see Broly beating you, even if it's not the real one. I'm going to be honest, son. I'm really disappointed in you.
Hey, now,
really
it's just a
disappointed.
draw.
I thought you better.
Okay, Papa Vegeta, how about you go ahead and try to find a 7-ton Super Saiyan that actually managed to take on at least 5 of them single-handedly?
Father, it's not even the real version of me! The fact that
True.
any version of you would be taking a beating like this is too much to bear. Father!
Man, Vegeta, now you know how Trunks feels every time you called him a failure. Again? Man, this has been happening a lot today. So, Trunks, are we gonna go hang out with some hot girls today? Oh yeah, Goten, I got just the right
you
ones.
boys.
You invited
You
my
have no
idea.
idea.
I do love older women. Yeah, see,
They are
this
milk
one's way
hunters!
better. I don't know about that. Now Broly's getting beaten up.
Now it's your turn, Paragus, to see your son get the beating. No offense, Broly.
None taken.
I'll let that slide because Broly beat your son into a pulp.
Actually, speaking of, who is this beating up Broly?
That's the fusion between me and Vegeta. It's called Gogeta.
Yes, it's a really cool fusion to say the least, but not the only one. It's the one that we get when we do the fusion dance.
I'm gonna pretend like I understand that stuff. Good for you guys, I guess.
Yeah, at least this one wasn't disrespectful to me for once. Finally! Me laying a smackdown on somebody!
Wait a second, this looks like Kakarot.
No, Dad, it's not me.
It's Goku Black.
Basically someone that got inside my body.
I'm not going to lie, that sounded very sus. Yeah, Kakarot didn't put it the right way. Basically, a god got inside of his body because he wanted his power. He used the Dragon Balls to do it.
I don't know if that makes it any better, but alright. And so you're saying he controls my son, and you beat his ass.
That version of him, yes.
I gotta admit, I've always liked his pink hair.
I'll give Blackarot this much. That man had style.
Yeah, I guess he did.
Oh, yeah!
Oh!
Oh, Kami! Oh, no!
Wait, what's going on? What's going on,
No,
Monster? I can
nothing!
feel debauchery.
This is 18. Vegeta always loses it when he sees her
Oh,
beating him up.
no, not
Or
this
General.
again!
Yeah, he goes super mega duper goon.
Oh, I love seeing Beatty beat me.
Damn it, Vegeta!
Bring
You
it
can't
on.
even last 9
Annihilate
minutes!
my pride. Son, you need to stop yourself. I know that she looks hot and all, but you do need to have some semblance of pride, father.
Yes! Even your dad is saying time to stop!
With all due respect, buck my pride.
Ah!
Another one! Yeah!
God damn it,
More.
Vegeta!
I
Why do you
desire
do
it.
this?
I am getting gooner. More gooner,
No!
yes!
No, not
Ah, yes,
no,
give
not
me
the
my
god of
gooner.
breeding
Give
again!
me that
No!
succulent.
No! Vegeta, calm down!
Is there anything we could do to stop him? Like, I mean,
Um,
anything?
We could try knocking him out, but honestly, when he gets like this, he gets a lot stronger.
Are you kidding me?
We've
I
got
wish.
to
He does
stop!
get a lot stronger when he's like this, believe it or not.
I see the legends were true
Oh,
about
no.
our family. It was said whenever we get in this mindset, we unlock power we never knew we had.
How?
And hence why he became the god of breeding. I saw that video, and there were a lot of bodies that have been dropped.
When the absolute hell does that even work?
Quite frankly, I do not know.
Yes. I desire more, Beatine.
No.
Give me more, please.
Get to rehab now! Oh!
I'm sorry, son, that I had to put my hands on you, but I needed to knock some sense into you. We must continue this Google. Yes.
Wow. I did not see that coming. Okay.
I'm
Good
sorry.
on you, Dad.
Sorry. You're right. Let's keep going.
Ah, my wife.
Oh, no, no.
Clown Kakarot. I love it.
Why is she slapping me? To be fair, weren't you like making fun of Vegeta because he said my Bulma? Oh, yeah, I guess I was. Guess I had that coming, huh?
And he also did other things in his younger years, but we will not discuss that.
Yeah, you did. You damn clown! I've got no stake in this, but hey, if you were making fun of him for defending his wife's honor, then that's on you, son.
The more I see of my son's wife, the more proud I am. You've chosen well, son.
Thanks, Dad.
My God, Paragus!
What is that?
Why are we wearing dresses and wigs?
Don't ask me, Broly. This isn't something we do.
You're wearing lipstick. Oh, now things make so much sense,
Oh,
Paragus.
no.
No wonder you always have to follow me around and talk about me 24/7. I knew you had a thing for me.
Not gonna lie, it's not a good look. It's not a good look.
You know, I don't know.
Is that
It's fine to
Seabat?
me.
Son,
No!
you don't understand what's going on.
I think I understand plenty. They're just wearing dresses because they wanna.
I guess.
Not gonna lie, you both look great in it.
Oh, stop being mean, bro, Chacho.
I'm just being fun.
I'll tell you what would be fun. Let's go to another image.
Yes, please. Another
Oh,
come
man,
on!
not again.
You really like wearing dresses, huh, Paragus? You all know that's not me and Broly. Someone drew this to disrespect me.
You know, I don't know if it was disrespect or them just paying homage to you. Yes.
Damn.
Well, whatever it was, it certainly is something that somebody's passionate about. Sorry. but-
Very passionate.
I understand. The disrespect that I had earlier, you starting to understand it a little bit? Let's move on then. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sick of it myself.
What the absolute hell, Paragus?
Huh?
Hey.
Wait,
Oh,
what is
look.
happening here?
Hugging Paragus. Is that your friend?
I didn't have anything to do with this.
Oh, Dad.
Who
you
is
think
that?
I'm friend?
Someone
She's no friend
explain.
of mine, Broly. This isn't real. This isn't me. It's a drawing. Are you sure about that? You out here hanging with lollies? Talking to lollies, Paragus? Someone
Oh,
get your
no.
Moshi Hansen on the line.
You know, now that I think about it, that does explain why Broly chose Chile.
Don't worry, I got him on speed dial.
Stop with the jokes and let's move on.
Fine. But it is quite funny, I won't lie.
I really don't understand why everyone's so worked up. Neither do I.
You are innocent children. That's what you are.
That was a very nice way to put it.
Oh my God!
Damn!
Why would someone draw me and my son this way?
Sweet home Alabama!
Yeah, what's going on? Me either. It's just us together, right, Dad?
Oh no!
Broly, it's disgusting.
This is incestuous. This type of thing needs to be eradicated.
See, this is the side of the internet you guys don't want to see yet. You're not ready for
I
it.
mean, I
It needs
tried to
be
warn him.
destroyed in fire.
You know what? I agree. Let's just move on and pretend this
Yes,
didn't
very movement.
Oh God, now it's in the algorithm.
Oh, no!
You're dreaming about this low class? You wanted a male companion over
Damn!
Oh gosh. Well, I guess that makes sense why you want to surpass my son so much.
Hey, now, you guys are no better. We've seen the way you interact. There's fan fiction of you two, I'm sure.
I don't really see what's wrong. We're just locking lips. What's the big deal?
Oh, no!
Chi-Chi.
Goku,
Your
no!
son is really brainless, I hate to say it, Bardock.
Now you will understand what it feels like.
I don't get it. It's just a little smoochy. Who
Broly,
cares?
no!
There's plenty wrong with it, Broly and Kakarot, but I'm not gonna go into it right now. We're just gonna pretend that we didn't see this, all right? Let me do it this time. I want to try something.
I don't know why, but I've got a bad feeling.
Isn't that sweet? You two are bonding even more than
I
before.
called it! How did I know
You
it?
damn vulgar Saiyan! How dare you put me and Bardock in such a promiscuous
Damn.
position?
All right, Paragus. I see that you really want to get your ass beat by me and Vegeta, huh?
I don't really understand what's going
context!
on. It's just you guys hanging out and holding each other's hands.
And
looking at each
wrapping
other.
your tails
What's going
together
on
by
here?
the looks of it.
Son, you don't do that with your friends. That's not how you have friendships.
Really? Is that so, Dad?
Yes, Broly. Only the closest of closest people do this.
Oh, you mean like me and Chile?
You're hanging around that green woman still? That's right, he is. He's getting married to her, actually.
Damn!
What,
I mean, congrats?
Broly? You're marrying her?
I am, Dad. And what are you gonna do about it?
Does she at least make you happy, Broly?
She does, Dad. And she's my bestest person in the world. Oh, isn't that adorable?
Okay, yeah.
You know, that completely shifted the entire room.
Let's just
It
pretend
really
we
did.
didn't see this, Bardock, and move along.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
that definitely.
Like
Yeah,
I
you
would
know what?
ever
Good on
hold
you,
your
Broly.
hand. Yeah.
Good
Why
on you.
I would ever look at you that
You
way.
get that
I can
green
sense
girl.
the sexual tension. Shut up!
Are you okay, Vegeta? You haven't said much since this image popped up.
I just want to forget all of my memories, Kakarot. That's what I want to do. I didn't want to see my father and your father like that.
If it makes you feel better, I could hit you in the head really hard and maybe you forget all your memories.
I appreciate that, Broly. I really do. But I'm afraid I'm going to have to carry this for the rest of my life. Here, give me that computer, boy.
Oh boy, what are you doing?
Look at this image, Paragus. You're down there
Okay.
doing a pose.
I have to say that I look rather good. Do you
I
not
mean,
see my
I'd
body?
say that's
Yeah, I
Jim
see your
Goals.
body all right, and it's glistening with Diddy oil.
Ah!
I don't know how you
No!
know that.
No!
But that was
Don't
great.
put that in my
Head oil
head!
is, but everyone looks
No!
pretty great in this picture to me. Look at Nappa, he's so big. Yeah, he must really know how to work out.
I
Yeah, he
mean,
did
yeah!
know how to work out.
This is a reminder for you out there. Hit your gym goals. I hit the gym every day.
But let's go ahead and move on. I've had my giggles. All right, I got something for us. Look at here. A Saiyan researcher.
Oh.
I remember her. Yes. She was
does she
really
even
good at
have a
what she
name?
does. She does more than add numbers, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, her and her accent always threw me off anytime I saw her. I don't care for her.
She looks pretty cool to me. Is she smart?
Yeah, she's
let's
pretty
see
smart.
here.
Is
there
Let's
another
go
one you
ahead and
wanna
fast
show,
forward
Vegeta?
just
Sure,
a
let's
little
go
bit.
to the... Tell me my boy has
Wait,
a
hold on.
harem?
Yeah, I guess he does.
Wait, hold on. Yeah.
It
Ending.
was nice to play this with you guys.
Yeah.
With all of you. Yeah, hanging out with you again, Dad, and Goku's dad, and Vegeta's dad.
Yeah.
It was
Happy
really
Father's
fun.
Day.
Yeah, just being able to hang out with my old man again and
Yeah.
meet you two and in a better circumstance, you know, it's
Yeah,
really
I'd
nice.
say a way better
Chill.
circumstance.
You know, I have to agree, it was certainly a enlightening experience to say the least. But I
One
wouldn't mind doing it again
understatement of the
someday,
century.
maybe.
I'm just happy to be able to be here with you, Broly.
Me
Aw.
too, Dad.
And you two were all right, I suppose. Well, look at him, finally coming around.
Yeah.
He's actually giving us somewhat compliment. Hell must be frozen over.
I think that's putting it lightly.
Hey, what's that?
Ah!
Tila!
They were watching this whole time?
Oh, it all makes sense. I knew you all had a hand in this sapcess.
What did you do?
Husband. We just wanted to make sure you boys had some quality time with your papas.
Yes, I figured it was high time my Goku got to meet his father. They totally just want to watch drama.
Yeah.
It's true. You are all trending number one
oh,
on
no.
the Suki fan.
You recorded all of it?
Chicken butt is what I
Oh,
wrecked.
no.
You mean to tell me my boy has a harem?
Yeah, I guess he
Yep.
does.
That's my boy.
Well, honestly, I'm happy I got to see Papa again. It was nice to be able to talk and spend time
Okay.
with him.
I mean, all the...
Guy.
Yeah. It was
Okay,
really nice
yeah,
to spend time with Dad.
Yeah, I
It's
guess
all
they're
thanks to
gonna
you,
be
Chi-Chi.
bedtime
I
sparring.
love you.
Oh, Goku.
This sappy shit is unbecoming of a prince, and my dad's a prick.
Wait, where is Dad?
Love him, but I guess it was nice to see his ass and shoot the shit with him, and yeah. Thanks, darling.
Oh, husband. Mwah. All right, boys. Time's almost up.
Of course you.
Goodbye.
There it is.
What? So soon?
No, I was just getting to know my dad. Broly has so much to say.
Oh
Grown
no!
into a fine young man, Kakarot. Your mother would be proud.
Dad, you're so cool. I wish we had more time together. And I want to meet Mom, too. Please tell her I'm gonna train and beat so many strong guys. Okay? And that I love her.
I will, son. I will.
Okay.
And Dad,
Yeah?
love you. Always.
Love you too, son.
You done well, son. Keep embodying the pride of a true
Okay,
prince
yeah,
of all Saiyans,
thumb us
and
up.
never stop pushing yourself to new heights. I will, Father. And stop letting these low-class clown Saiyans show you up like that. You're making us look bad.
Dick!
My apologies, son. I was a terrible father consumed with my own rage and bitterness. I should have cherished you even more. I should have cherished every moment with you instead of fearing your power.
It's okay, Papa. Broly forgives you.
Okay, this is
I know you
wholesome. I love
Broly deep
this.
down. I've always known.
No, Broly. My dear sweet boy.
Ah! Yeah, it's okay. I'm with you too.
I can't take
It's so good, so wholesome.
Girls, this is too much.
I know. Wait.
Kakarot grew into a fine young man thanks to your love and guidance. Chi-Chi, I couldn't be prouder to call you my daughter-in-law. Look after my son.
Thank you, Bardock. Your blessings mean the world to me.
Yeah.
My dear, you have been an exemplary mate to my son. Your strength, intelligence, and unwavering support has made him into the mighty warrior he is today.
Thank you.
Okay, that I would take that.
It's been an honor to stand by my Vegeta's side through thick and thin.
You have succeeded admirably, my lady. Vegeta's down bad for you.
Time up, gentlemen. Time to go back to the other world.
You know, there's one thing today's taught me. It's that nothing is more important than being with the people we love. Broly agrees. When Pa and Papa died, Broly thought he would be all alone. But you guys are Broly's family now.
We love you, you big lug.
My pride might get in the way, and I know I can be an asshole sometimes. But you two, you're my brothers. My friends.
Hey!
I know I don't say it
What?
often,
I like this. Let's go.
I love you guys.
Peace. You did not just say that.
Oh my.
He actually said it.
Give me a hug. Give me a hug, Vegeta. I love you so much.
Oh my God! He actually said
And
it.
with that, we come to a close. If there's one thing that we know about our three favorite Saiyans, they love their food and they love their loved ones. They might fight and bicker and sometimes do some wild activities, but in the end, the broship will live on forever. If you guys want to see more of this lovely bromance blossom, stay tuned for the next episode of The Saiyan Boys.
Wait, what is going on in the background?
I do know they could have just used the Dragon Balls to bring him back. Right?
You know, that's... Yeah. Probably. Anyway, yeah, that was a good video. Wholesome holidays and... Yeah, this just be a reminder to cherish your loved ones. So, you know what? Yen guy approved! Thanks, Vegeta, for giving us a good Father's Day gift. And, well, I guess I'm gonna have to end it tonight. And, yeah, if you enjoyed this and you want to join me in other live streams and you want me to actually do videos, please, as always, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that jazz to become a lucky M&A today. And as always, I will see you at the next dive. Yen bye, and good night.